Greetings and salutations, everybody. We are here. We are live, and yeah, we're doing another dev stream here. Because Doom ended up doing a dev stream earlier today, and I totally forgot what day it was, so I may or may not admit it live, and I came in like halfway. So we ended up saving this to once it was done to actually fully watch and give my full breakdown reaction, since this is gonna be combat focused and who know what else. And also I know, like, right after this they ended up doing doing a interview with Pirate Software. I don't know how long that is. That could be still happening. Either way, that's another thing we'll be crossing in a bit. But how are you doing, CM? How are you doing? Also, why did it not play the audio? I have no idea what happened now. What happened, CM? How you doing, CM? How are you doing? Are you ready, CM? Are you ready?
Vyerka should be blasted into Russia like South Korea plays K-pop on loudspeakers into North Korea. It would stop the war.
There we go. Now I played it. Okay, I guess it's only on this scene, but whatever. Whatever. Hang on, let me get that switch back. There we go. I am technically recording for YouTube and we live on YouTube. But yeah, don't you worry, it's fine. I guess I just didn't have that audio on the main scene, I guess. Will behave then. Yes, because it's probably gonna be cut up into YouTube video, hopefully. But how are you doing? Are you ready? Are you ready? How long is this? So this is going to be, so about hour 40-ish. I'm sensing a trend with the event, because I think the last event they did was like 2 hours. Also, by the way, real quick before we get into that, since I'm not 100% sure if they're going to talk about that during this event or not, I have honestly no idea. So to cover some all bases here real fast, as soon as I find a tweet, there it is. We did end up getting a little announcement, I think before or maybe during, well, they are gonna delay the game. So heads up on that right out of the gate. The game is being delayed roughly about what, like 2 weeks ish. So instead of coming out on May 15th for the assets, it's gonna be June 10th, and is it 10th? Oh no, sorry, June 5th, and then June 10th is the full release. So they did push it back from the 15th and 20th to now June 10th and 5th. So yeah, lucky enough, what did that only like what, a 2-week pushback? I'm happy they're not pushing it back like, you know, 9 months or something. You can also exactly, because the second day of your vision was the 15th to my knowledge. So exactly, now we can do full force your vision. I'm a little sad that not happening on my birthday, but hey, we still getting your vision for my birthday, so hey, you know, still something. Also, the other thing about all this, because it's a lot of text, they did say they are going to do a beta in May at some point, but by this it seemed like it's still going to be invite only. So I imagine we will probably get more information about that during the stream. So either way, let's get into this and let's see if I gotta move my camera. Let me know if I need to bump up audio. Good God knows. Also, I got no audio. Is it muted? Do they mute the stream? Or they just having audio problems? Chat, did they mute the stream? Is it gonna be a whole thing? I need you to talk. Yeah, why is it muted? Like, did they forget to unmute the YouTube stream? That honestly explains why they didn't have music going. I was honestly wondering about that. We might have to go to Twitch and hope they have the VOD set up. So that might turn into a thing here in a moment. As soon as I find my mixer and make sure nothing is out of whack. Nothing should be out of whack. We were literally just playing music. So yeah, that's a thing. Hang on, let me make sure YouTube is working. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, YouTube work. Yeah, I think they both on YouTube stream. Hey, you do bits if you want to. Okay, chat. We might have to go to Twitch and actually get that. Let me see. I'm gonna get forward a little bit. And we're just gonna see if they fix it. Oh yeah, audio heal.
The players will experience.
What happened to the audio? Okay, how long did it take them to fix the audio bug?
Hiccups happen.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, we might be okay, chat. Oh, I think she will lie and they mute it. I think they will lie about to mute it of the stream. Are we? Chat. Okay, yep, they know they mute it. Okay, so that's not just a YouTube thing. It's fine, chat. She loves us all. Why they fixing audio real quick? Okay, this is what we're gonna do, chat. Since they obviously having issues, we're just gonna speed this up. Don't worry, we got little hand motion. It's fine.
Apologies for that, everyone.
Hey,
again,
they fixed it.
Hello, welcome.
Bless them.
They picked it. The love of doing live streams. You don't know how many times I've been muted. Actually, you probably do see them. So, there we go. At least they know.
Hi to our second Dune Awakening live stream.
There we go.
Here, out of our Oslo offices.
That does explain why with no music in the countdown.
Still here. We are still here. I hope everyone is still watching. But
I'm
anyway,
here.
we have a lot to go through.
The
I hope
VOD,
you're
but
well hydrated and you're sitting comfortably.
I am. I got my puppy piddle behind me. We good.
What's coming up? Some information for those of you who might have missed it. We have moved the release date for Dune Awakening from the 20th of May to the 10th of June with a head start on the 5th of June.
Yeah, so
that will give us a little bit
days?
of more time to work on some improvements. So there's no
I wonder if
there's no reason for concern. We just wanted to work on a few things a little bit longer. And
2 weeks is not a long time. I think probably is like a solo infrastructural thing.
More importantly, it gives us the time to do non-NDA beta weekends on a large scale where you can be streaming. You will be able to talk about the game. You will make videos.
I did not know about no NDA.
Hopefully that is exciting to you. So that was one of the reasons as well. But what are we going to talk about today?
Real quick, before they heavily get into that, I am happy. One thing about the delay, real fast, I did not know about the NDA bit. But I am like very happy because they are fixing one of the issues that we went to with Wayfinder of not doing public beta and also not ever being out of NDA other than the release. So good.
So the segments.
Let's see. Let's see how we fully gonna get into the beta now.
The vision of our combat for Dune Awakening.
A legendary hero soon will lead us to glory. 8 years ago, he sunk the mothership, says history. Tomorrow we will follow this brave soul to victory. The EDF deploys.
And we are deploying to fight giant worms. How you doing, Z?
And group combat.
We are catching up on the dev event they did for Dune Awakening earlier.
Server structure, because we know a lot of you were kind of concerned, or some of you were concerned about
here we
start and how it will be working, playing with your friends.
Good. I was wondering about the guild stuff, like how in depth is it going to be?
Well.
And the Lunar Torch is coming back,
we'll
chat.
Also have a Q&A, of course, where we collect questions throughout the stream and then answer those.
I imagine the Q&A is going to be mainly about the beta, right?
Into the combat section, let's watch a
I hope
video.
they dive more into that. I need to look into that and figure out. If they don't, we got to figure out how bad is the sign up going to be. I don't think it's public.
Spice Girls, I think you meant to say.
Oh, that way. We were gonna make a guild of the Spice Girls. My bad. They are a separate part of the Lunar Torch. Okay, are we doing the same trailer still? I think we are. I got a feeling this is going to be the default trailer we're going to see for the next months.
If the sands don't take you, the storms will swallow you whole.
Yeah, we gotta do a bet. How long do you think it's going to take before I get eaten by sand?
But you don't have to walk this path alone. In every danger, there is
I gotta say one thing real quick, chat. Why they still just showing the same trailer we have seen like 40 times now. At least they don't look they got the bitrate fit that time for this stream. The last time around on YouTube, the bitrate was terrible.
Some claim to rule.
Also, hopefully my internet don't go out again. Knock on wood, like it did last time they did one of these showcases.
Is yours to explore, to fight for.
Oh,
to conquer.
I'm guessing that from coming in and out, Z, or that from actually coming in from like the weather.
But there are forces beyond even your control.
baby sandworm, chat. I can be the two things. How long is it going to take me to die to sand? How long is it going to take me to get eaten by a worm? Also, I think the reason they're showing the trailer, they updated the date now. It's showing the 10th instead of the 15th.
Master Arrakis. And it will open your mind. This is your path to awakening.
But yeah, I'm really curious to see about, like, since this is going to be about combat stuff. I want to see if it looked equally as clunky as it did before. Because like I said, before we had the whole look clunky, but is it because of lore? Is it because of it's just clunky? I'm curious to see how much it's going to be cleaned up. Yeah, they put it back. In June 5th for early access to be by the collector edition.
Welcome
and
back.
June 10th for
Combat.
Everybody
we
version.
have seen your comments, your feedback on
They always
Combat
delayed it
and what
once.
we've
They
shown
delayed
so
it
far.
today,
So
so
obviously we want to show you more.
you're hoping they don't
And to
delay
talk
it
about
again.
Combat, I have two guests with me now, two very
I need something to make YouTube
interesting
videos
guests,
about
and they
again.
really know what they're talking about. For one, I have Viljar here, game director on Dune
oh, there you
Awakening.
go.
Viljar, you want to introduce yourself?
I'm like,
quickly?
is ship
Hi,
biking
I'm
again?
Viljar. I've been on the project for about 5 years, game director. Other projects I've worked on.
Okay, so you've been there a
started
while
at
for
Funcom
this.
25 years ago, working on Anarchy Online. I also worked here at on Age of Conan. I did some travel in between. I worked on the Syndicate shooter. I worked on Hitman Absolution and Mirror's Edge Catalyst, to mention a few games.
So a lot of things that are very relevant as well.
It makes sense. I know a lot of the devs here from IO, wasn't
And
it?
then also, last but not least, we have Alex, lead combat designer. Alex, you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Alex, lead combat designer on Dune Awakening. With Funcom, I've been for like 16 years now, with the last big project being Conan Exiles. Yeah.
I didn't realize something now,
16 years.
chat.
16
That's
years.
kinda
That feels
crazy.
super old.
Since
It's great.
this is
I
getting
love it.
delayed to
I remember doing
early
that
June now.
especially back in the days as well. It was super fun too.
Good times.
That means we got a
Good
little bit of
times.
time, got even more time to play Conan.
Anyway, now we're actually talking about combat.
Don't forget, I'm going to try Conan. More likely, Toon will probably tag along on that. But we're going to be trying Conan Exile before they come out, since I still think we're going to have a lot of
crossover. We kind of want to
crossover.
raise the bar when it comes to combat in open world survival games specifically. But what does that actually mean, Viljar?
Yeah, so when we set out, we wanted to make the best combat experience in the survival game genre. Combat in Dune Awakening is about the interplay between ranged, melee, and abilities. It is responsive
thinking about it, we haven't
and
had like a
reactive.
really good
It is
combat
about
in any survival
positioning
game, have we?
And movement. Quick in, quick out.
Well, you know,
Players focused on ranged and players
Melee
focused
and
on melee
always
should have
been
equal
iffy.
opportunity to succeed, but everyone will need to use abilities. Now, playing optimally means switching playstyle depending on the situation. Use ranged weapons as someone approaches, then quickly switch to melee as they get near.
So basically, combat is fast and with a lot of movement, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So we are less about the perfectly timed button press, but more about the
no
overall
rotation.
tactic, like
Yay.
reading the combat environment. So we looked more to action games than traditional survival games when it came to building our
Give me an
combat.
example
So
of
we are not going
what
for
you're
a
looking at?
Souls-like approach to combat.
Yeah, I think that's very, very important to
Okay.
mention as well, like actiony but not Souls-like. And in that context, I think it's also very important to mention that the combat has to work both in a solo and in a group gameplay. Group gameplay. That's a difficult thing. Group
Have there been
play.
an MMO that
Group
did some combat
gameplay
stuff? I
setting.
feel
There
like
we
they
go.
have,
Thank you,
right?
brain. There we go.
I feel like
hiccup.
that technically,
Yeah, so
what, in Shroud
you need to
and
support solo
MMO
group play,
wise was
as you said. So
patently new
as a
war,
solo
patently
player,
a little
you
bit.
really should try to separate enemies from the group. So try to approach it with a divide and conquer mentality. Abilities provide great opportunities for this approach, basically. So you can command a single NPC to come to you, or you can use a gravity grenade to keep the enemies behind
I
them
don't
at
remember
bay.
the whole command thing is like
Or
a
even use a
class or
shield
not
wall, which
ability.
is normally used for cover, to actually put it in place of someone who approaches you, and then it will slow them down, giving you more react to come up with your tactics to deal with them. And sometimes it's okay to bravely run away. You can disengage
I'm getting, like,
with the Shigawai
only-
Claw, or even a knee charge, which can be seen as combat tools, but also as good tools to get away from combat when you need to. And yes, on the co-op side, playing with friends is easier, but you still need to be careful and not pull everyone at the same time. Like,
telling you,
the paradigm
June's gonna
that
be
we work
busy
with
at well.
is one enemy is fine, 2 will provide a challenge, and 3 should be hard. So if you go beyond that, you kind of brought it on yourself.
Good point. In the end there. You mentioned abilities and tools and things. One thing that's very important in the game as a whole is basically be able to customize your kind of experience, right? Like that goes into character customization, it goes into how you want to play outside of combat too, but more importantly, it really also goes into kind of customizing your own combat and your playstyle, right?
Yes, that's correct. So one of our pillars is expression and customization, and this is something that we follow throughout everything that we do in the game.
But
so it's
can
not
we be
just
bald
about
and bearded?
making your character
think the
look the
answer
way
is
that
yes,
you want,
Sion.
but it's also developing the combat style that you want.
I'm pretty sure.
You can, of course, fully
time to
commit to
download-
an
time to
archetype
download
to
a bit
play
more
out
and
a
stop making
specific
some
Dune
kills, we'll see
fantasy,
'em.
but you can also pick from all
But
the
I
skill
believe you
trees if you want to take a more of a generalist approach.
I'm in.
And if you talk combat, of course, we
Damn
also
right
have
you
to
are.
talk weapons. For one, ranged weapons. We've seen quite a few ranged
might
weapons.
make another
in
Kelton to
examples of
fully go
combat
over that. I
videos
know I did
we've
a
shown,
video going
but
over
can you tell
Kelton
us a little more
equation.
about ranged combat in specific?
Yeah, so we do have a lot of ranged weapons
And I'm
in
pretty
the
sure the
game,
benchmark
and
still
luckily
up
the
for
Dune
download
lore
as well.
actually supports this. It's
Well, you actually
mentioned
make your
many
character.
times in the Dune books. However, our approach with the mechanics and everything is that they're spring-loaded and mechanical. So we use dodge instead of bullets, which give them kind of a different feel to what you use from other games. I'll mention a few examples, like we have something called the drill shot. This will fire burrow darts. It will hit a shield and burrow through. And if you don't do a dash to counter that, it will go through the shield and damage you directly. But as I mentioned, you can do a dash, assuming you have the stamina, and then they will fall to the ground. So
Okay, this is
you
like
have to be
PvP
aware
stuff.
of these things and use dash and stamina
I get
elegantly. And,
I get normal
yeah,
enemy could
and
do it
with
well,
purpose.
but
we also have
not a question what the
weapons, ranged weapons that you might
in my
see are
question
similar
now.
to other games. For instance, we have something called the Karpov, which is an assault rifle. So.
And then we also have a disruptor, which is kind of like an SMG, right? That's specific to the gameplay as well. That's kind of important too.
Yes, of course. So we have the disruptor, which is very effective at taking down a shield. So if you see someone coming towards you with a shield on, quickly switch it to your disruptor, try to take down the shield and take them out before they get close to you.
Right. And when we talk about shields, of course, they are very important.
We're not doing like
part of
gameplay while
Dune
talking
Wars.
about this.
Melee
Because obviously
combat
we're going to
as
do
well, which we
gameplay
know.
again.
That's one of the topics that a lot of people have talked about, because we haven't really shown that or explained it that much in showcases or
I feel like
videos
B-Wall would be
specifically.
great right now.
So let's talk about shields and melee.
Yeah, so on the melee side, we have swords, we have rapiers, we have the kinjal, we have the crysknife. Swords deal damage in an area, but they are kind of slow. You do a swing, but it's kind of slow compared to the kinjal, which is very fast, but only focuses on one enemy at a time. So even there, you can play as you like. And of course, our shields, they work a little different from what you're used to in other games, I think. Our shields actually go down when you shoot, which makes you vulnerable. So you go into an encounter and start shooting, and suddenly you wonder why you take a lot of damage. Your shield went down. Now, this can be used, this also works the other way. So if you go against an enemy, if you time it right, you see them start firing, and then you dodge out of the way, and then you start damaging them. So it's about
it's either
looking for windows
ideal.
of opportunity
They were
while
talking
dodging out of the way from
question is, will
damage.
it actually matter in motion though?
So you can, of course, do the melee approach,
Yeah, to the
where
extent
your
that
shield
it,
won't
like,
go down
notable.
when you attack. However, you're still vulnerable to the slow blade attack. This is a special attack where if you're fighting against a shielded enemy, with a little bit of extra effort, you can actually press through their shield to deal damage through their shield. So you're never completely safe. And the last thing I'll mention on this is that you can be staggered by various attacks, in which case you should use the dash, as I mentioned already. And again, it uses stamina, so manage this carefully.
So the dash is kind of a get out of jail free card sometimes, as long as you have stamina, right?
Exactly.
And if you talk shields and weapons, we have to mention the last guns too, of course.
Right, the last guns. So the way that the last guns work in lore is that if you fire a last gun at a shield, you get an atomic explosion. And fun as that may seem in the short term, we deemed it impractical.
Yeah, that was in the fourth movie. I'm talking about
I like that it's like, we deemed it impractical. It's like having like nuclear explosions all over the map
We had it
constantly.
working, but we figured it out that it's probably not for the best for the greater good of the game.
Probably not, yeah. It would be hilarious maybe for a day or so, but then I
It
think
was funny.
players would get
You know, it
tired of
literally
it.
fall out all
So the
over
way
again.
we
Fall
did it is that
76 coming
the
back
Emperor
down.
decreed that any last gun produced or crafted on Arrakis will have a safety. So basically, if you try to fire a last gun at someone who's shielded, the last gun just will refuse to fire.
Right.
So that's how we dealt with
That's
it.
one way to
It's
get
like
around it, I
kind of
guess.
an elegant solution to the whole problem.
We need to do an April
Also, if
Fool
you
Day
talk
where they turn that
Holtzman tech,
off.
which the shield is of course a Holtzman tech, we have more Holtzman tech in the game, of course. In
Yes. Yeah, so you have the Holtzman, the suspensor belts, and these are really good for both traversal and combat. So you can use them
you can
during
pull toward
combat
the enemy, if I
to
remember
get
right.
out of trouble, or you can use it to descend upon your enemy. It's not an ability per se, but it's one aspect of the game which
I guess you could say
supports
more
other
tool,
abilities
not
and how you use
ability.
them.
I love them. They're really fun, and there's like different types of them too. Like hover, you can control it like more up and down and vertically, or just fall damage and things like that.
Yeah.
You briefly also mentioned the Dune fantasy earlier on, and of course, if you talk about that, we have archetype, like we call them in the game, that are very much going into this Dune fantasy of like, we have characters that people might know from the books or the movies, like Duncan Idaho, Swordmaster, for example.
We
And
can't keep
for
Duncan,
example, we
chap.
also talked Melee, we do actually have a Swordmaster archetype
Poor
in the
Duncan.
game, right?
Yeah, so we have the Swordmaster. They're of course melee focused. So some of the abilities that they have are deflection, where they can actually run towards an enemy who's firing darts at them and deflect those darts and don't take damage. They have the knee charge, which is very practical when you want to knee kick someone. But again, you can also use it for traversal to get away or get into the action if you want. And then they also have something called the Eye of the Storm, which is a whirlwind that will attack everything that they hit. It will damage everything they hit around them. And I want to mention this specifically for the beta players, because we've actually reworked how this whirlwind attack works. So the next version that you'll play will be much cooler.
There we go. A little bit of a nugget for the beta players. Thank you for all your feedback, by the way. It's very valuable and very much appreciated. Also, I am very much a Swordmaster at heart. I also like Retaliate, for example, which is a super cool skill, but we don't go into detail about that. You can try that out soon, hopefully yourself. But if we talk about archetype, some of you might have started watching the show or watching the show, the Bene Gesserit TV show that's now available. I think it's on HBO. If I remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's HBO.
Maybe, I think I'm right. But we also have a Bene Gesserit archetype tree as well, right?
Yes, we do have the Bene Gesserit, and they're all about voice powers and supreme muscle control. So they have abilities like the Bindu Sprint, where they can run at incredible speed, run into combat or run away from combat. They have the Compel, which is where they can command someone to get to them and
Also, I guess also having that ability be helpful
incapacitate
to
them
get
for a
around the
bit
map, huh?
until you and actually give you time
Maybe
to
you don't have to
damage
grapple
them
you
before
up.
they regain
Or you put them together.
control over their limbs. And they also have the Weeding Step, which is a very cool ability where they can move superhumanly fast behind someone and then attack from the back.
Oh God, chat.
So these are, of course, only
am I
two
gonna
of the
am I gonna
archetype
be a
trees
witch
that we
mom?
mentioned, but
I'm gonna be witchy, aren't I?
it's kind of surprising as well because,
all
not
for
surprising
the
because those are my
teleporting
favorite ones.
stuff
I
and
go
feed.
with them a lot, and I love combining the Swordmaster and the Bene Gesserit trees because they just
Are you ready to join my
works well
Illuminati
together,
chat?
especially also if you like melee. But we'll see
Cat-like.
more on that a little later in the combat segment. If we talk about the Dune universe, of course, we need to talk about spice. Spice is important in the game for pretty much everything. It influences politics, it influences economics, it influences your character in all different kind of interesting and special ways.
I still want to
it
see
also
how this,
influences
like, you know,
combat.
economy stuff.
Yeah, so that's true. So we have this special ability called prescience. This is where you gain special powers through spice consumption or even inhaling spice in a spice field. If you don't have if you're not wearing a spice mask for protection.
Wait, so if you're in a PvP zone, will you get
in
bonus
the game,
abilities?
you start with 2 abilities, and then when you play the story, you will unlock a 3rd ability at the same time as you unlock the spice prescience feature. So this is a very cool, very powerful mode to be in, where you will reduce the cooldowns on
Troy,
all of your
I told
abilities
you
by
the
quite a
Oblivion
lot.
remake was
You'll deal a lot
I
more
was
damage
right.
from your ability.
Don't worry, we will talk about that Oblivion remake probably after this. But yeah, I seen the screenshot. I still think it's going to be announced at the Jeff Keighley EPA event. That might still my bet. But yes, I did see the the Oblivion stuff. So, don't you worry, we will talk about that in a bit, Wag. How you doing, Wag?
Use from range, from melee. You'll even
Welcome to
become
the
immune
Doom
to
Awakening
poison.
Combat
And
Dev Stream.
additionally, it will actually trigger what we call capstone skills. So these are special passive skills that you invested in the various skill trees that we have. And they will only
Similar to Power
be
Drill, hope they
active
built up.
when
Yeah.
you're in this special
Yeah,
in this
they are
special,
taking-
mode. So a few examples there.
What they are doing, Z, with it, the reason I'm like very interested in, and other than being Dune, like I love Dune, but IP aside, like the main thing I'm like super interested in this, like I have said for many years now, like the survival game genre have a lot of like MMO tendencies, elite old school MMO tendencies, you know, pre-WoW, and since they stated this is literally taking that and making it back being an MMO by keeping like the heavy influence of survival games with the mechanics of MMOs, you know, the whole big area, server, structural, city, reputation, you know, all the normal MMO stuff. At least what they have talked about anyway. We will see how far they go with that, because I still got big questions about that. But yeah, they're pretty much doing, like, taking in, like, making it full circle of being a survival game MMO. But yeah, that's the whole reason why, like, the building stuff, because during the last stream, they kind of went into, like, the building, the environment, the pre-order stuff. And I think this is the reason why this time they're doing a stream about combat. It because, we have seen, like, a little bit of combat, but, like, the combat stuff and also, like, the engagement with, I get the factions and stuff, but the stuff that is more important as a MMO game. Also, sorry, I just slapped my mic. But yeah. But yeah, survival is a big part of it, though.
You can actually see vulnerabilities in other shield, and you
Which
can
I'm good
focus
with. I
on
love
those
survival
vulnerabilities
games.
and take down their shields faster.
Too bad most of
We
them
have
never
the
get out all the
dodge,
assets,
where
though.
it appears as if dodge and blade attacks pass through you. Your health will regenerate at an accelerated pace as well. But what's really helpful to get an eye
We're doing great,
to
Swag.
understand the battlefield is
Not
it will
only this, but
highlight
Oblivion and all the other stuff happening
you
today.
will see their health, their weapons, their ammunition, and also the type of NPC that you will be dealing with, and it lasts for quite some time as well. It's a very powerful mode to be in, and it looks pretty cool as well.
Especially with ammunition, even though it's just like, oh, it shows ammunition, that's not that important. But it actually shows you when you have an opportunity or window to actually attack. Because, yes, exactly, because NPCs have to reload as well. They kind of react very much like players have to as well.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of information.
Can we do
a lot
gameplay
of
now?
talk, and we're actually now.
I do
gonna show
say
you
we need
how
a B-roll
it
for a lot
looks
of that they just
in
said.
gameplay. We'll have Alex here
Hopefully.
play like a pro, like the pro he is, because he really knows what he's doing. No pressure, no pressure, Alex. Yes.
So let's see what we go through. We have had this character set up in a location of our choosing to showcase the combinations of experiences that our players will be able to have. Combat is a dance of multiple things, and we have a wide selection of very interesting toys that
I
we'll
want to see in
demo
long
here
term how this
so that
is.
our viewers can see and experience.
So this will
Like I
be solo
said,
combat
it seemed like
first,
it
right?
got some
To
depth
make
to
that
it,
clear.
but we only have ever seen bits and pieces here and now.
And you're standing in the sunlight.
See, that's why you
God,
should
we got
always
Unreal
be
Engine
prepared
popping, chat.
if you go
Right,
out. Make
absolutely.
sure you have enough
We
water.
will
Make
not
sure you
cheat to fix this problem. We will suffer the consequences
because we
because
can cheat.
we will find water in the location that we go to. As you see here, we've begun to be dehydrated. But
Yes.
It's very much worth mentioning that you'll be having fewer dashes because you're low on hydration.
Your
Oh,
stamina
okay,
actually
so the
gets,
draining will
like-
actually start affecting
if you
auto
can see where
mechanics,
the
huh?
pips are on the bottom left of the screen above the hydration icon, every time you cross that threshold, you're given a bonus to your stamina. Right now, because we're below both of the thresholds, we do not have that bonus. It's a missed statistical opportunity.
And your health goes down as well.
And the
over
health is
time.
going to be ticking down. We have a challenge. We'll overcome the challenge. I promise.
Okay,
And
so
at the same time,
dehydration
you
actually do
also-
affect health. Okay.
Sunstroke.
I'm also sunstroke, yes.
So,
Everything
Now,
is
was
a-
actually doing the live stream, like, what does Sunstroke actually do?
It's
Because it
pouring
didn't look like it was doing anything.
So, first, I'm going to talk about the tools that we're bringing, and then we're going to touch on the skills that we have equipped for this character. This character is specifically going to be for my playstyle. Let's talk about first the equipment. We have a selection of items: healing, melee, disruptor, rifle, scattergun. These all have their uses. I will use them interchangeably in combat. We have a armor kit. This is light armor. This is more focused around dashing and dodging and being more
What are the two
protective
empty slots
against
all
melee
like?
attacks. We have our battery pack that fuels our two of our primary resources, which is resources. Technically, they both pull from the same pool. The energy pool, which Holtzman shields use, and this is the Holtzman shield,
Oh,
and
there you
Holtzman
go,
suspense
Chad.
use also. Now, we'll quickly show this before we go any further. So, I will first activate my shield. Boop, boop. Fantastic.
Nice.
And then, as Vinny
Well, they
said,
put the subtitle.
the unique narrative of Dune forces
Maybe uphill. There we go.
projectiles to have to put down the shield for them to leave it. We must time our gameplay.
Okay, subtitle
around this
taking up a
mechanic.
lot of bait. Sorry, chat.
Then, suspenses. The one I chose is the one I personally prefer the most. It is energy efficient, it doesn't give me vertical velocity, but it allows me to float.
Okay, so we're not just doing just straight grappling hooks.
Maybe I will have to cheat to solve this water problem. This is becoming poignant.
And you saw that his shield started blinking there. That's because he was low on energy while he was suspended.
I'm gonna gas out and pop the bubble. There we go. Right. So here we have lost our shield. We have lost the perfect barrier because it is tied to the resource pool. Because we're floating, it will regenerate, and it will re-engage. There we go. Now, in terms of skills, let's have a quick look.
Are they interchangeable?
Is hiding a couple of buttons, but I'll pretend I know where they are and click through them. So here we see our 5 archetypes.
Okay, never mind. No, these
And
don't
my
do normal
choice
kill
of
trees. That's a
skills-
lot of kill trees.
For me personally, and because of the setup that we're playing, which is away from the TV a little bit, on remote hardware. So if I miss, it's not my fault, it's the hardware's fault. I'm getting that out of the way now.
No gaming chair either.
No.
Oh,
Recharge?
wait. I know what
Compel?
game this is.
And
No
Assault
Man's
Seeker.
Sky
In terms of
Awakening.
my techniques,
with
which are,
combat.
actions
If,
and
if
functions
only
passively,
if only we had a spaceship
I
in
can't
this.
read on without glasses, oh my goodness.
I'm so
Right,
curious to see if we
that
ever will
lead
leave a
is
whack
center of
it.
mass.
That's what I'm curious about.
We have energy
you know, there's a
conservation,
lot
giving
to
more
the
juice,
Doom
so I
universe
can
beyond
fight
just
for longer,
whack-its,
float for longer,
so-
shield for longer, and death from above to give me benefits to my damage output while I'm floating. With that said, let's do this actually. Let's do a
So
little
you
bit
might
of
get
cheating
something
that
like
people
you might be
see
accurate on No Man's Sky
magic
eventually.
hands while we're fixing the character.
The water
The
consumption.
water consumption.
Oh, time to start typing in
The
command
thing that
chat.
our support crew don't
I'm gonna
realize
do
is that
some-
I need
I'm
to
gonna
see
do
the
some
other one
water
so that I can fix it
consumption.
as well.
Actually, just
Fantastic.
to-
I'm gonna look this way to fix it. Magic button there.
Just so we are like aligned with
It's just
our character
completely
too.
fair. There's no problems at all. This is just magic that happens.
Do you need some water as well? Are you
No, I'm
okay?
good. It's fine. So the character's fixed,
Nice.
hydrated, cheating
Perfect.
concluded. See, we have a blue bar. It's magic. Perfectly planned.
I'm surprised they didn't just put like
Nothing
some type of water container or something on the character so they could just drain.
Even though we're cheating, the health doesn't go up immediately. You will have to regenerate health.
Oh yeah, I see it
hydrated,
regenerating. Yeah.
We are regaining our maximum lost life.
I don't know. Do promote water? Yes, it is. Clean British water.
As we progress
We
forward.
Or
can
the
also talk
Poland.
about the fact that you're actually wearing a helmet.
I don't remember exactly what part it is.
You can. I mean, it's
Whatever
not
country they
combat related,
from.
but I think a lot of people are actually press D. You can press D,
Press the D key.
and there you go. So
There
you have a
it
toggle
is.
here, so you can actually toggle your helmet on and off, and that works with
I
all
like
armor.
helmetless in this case.
Me too.
Wait.
Like a lot of like.
Is that actually working like in game,
I don't
where you can
see-
like take the helmet
Oh,
off and
so
keep the
now you can put
stats?
your face on you during the character
Okay.
creation.
Well, there you go, chat.
You can
There you go for you people who wanna do Doom fashion, I guess.
You're also being dehydrated by the sun again.
Still, right. Let's get into the let's get into the shadows. I will. The location we're going to is an Ecolab. It's to the forward left. We're gonna rotate counterclockwise and hit the entrance. I've been in this Ecolab a couple times, so I have a relatively good memory of where the NPCs are. But if I make a mistake, it's not my fault. It's the hardware's fault. We shall begin.
That does like gun combat look fine. The melee
This is not-
stuff that
I hit
I'm
every bullet.
was
It's
iffy
absolutely
about.
not me. We'll reheal, and because we're shielded, we continue to advance. Let's get into it. Let's pressure this. Let's pick up the tempo. We go here, rotate left, content pause. Thank you. We dispatch him easily. We're relatively safe here. This character is by himself. His mate was dispatched. We're shielded. We're in.
It
we're
looks
in
a little
shadow, and we're
better.
inside.
I
This
give
is
them
the
that
entrance of our
compared to
Ecolab
some other
location.
video, but still a little clunky looking.
Compel there as one of my skills.
Like I think the MMO side is showing in melee.
Like Vilya said, to all three skills, you must experience a certain narrative event before they come online.
Yeah.
And then
You
push it
probably have gotten it at this point in the game
yes.
because it's like 10 hours in or
Do
something.
you remember which tier we're in right now? Steel tier?
Well, this one is steel tier, but it's placed in iron tier area.
Right, it's the challenging Ecolab.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites because it is quite
That's a big vertical
Quite long.
chat.
It
I'm sensing a
has
shotgun here.
very interesting disposition of rooms, and it forces you to really, really work, especially for the tier that it's in. So we're gonna make our way down the hall. Actually, no, we'll save that for later. I was thinking about activating the pressing state, but I think we'll save that for later. So let's see. We have two characters here. They don't know we're here. We will.
Don't kill time?
No, we won't do that. We'll just open up the scattergun. Oh no! Okay, that was my mistake.
Called it. It is a
You
shotgun.
could though, like you could crouch. You're actually making this more.
This is one of
Okay,
the things
shotgun
that
got
is
some
not
range.
often evident because if you crouch your character, you do not generate audio movement events. What that means is that if you can predict which way NPCs will move, you can get much closer to them to do what I essentially did here, which is get the scattergun in a much closer position.
Yeah, the scattergun obviously is better at close range because it scatters a lot of pellets.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like the
Does.
photo outage or the
We'll
less
push
damage it
through.
does.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, because the scattergun is basically like your shotgun approach, you know.
Good job on the double
The
tap.
other interesting element here is that, as Vida said prior, we don't only. Ooh, I missed.
Oh, that was a
that's
nice
interesting.
dodge
Let's
on
not.
it.
Let's not. Oh, I'm shielded. He's not going to do anything. It's okay. We'll find him. Oh,
Okay, so not couple
one of the
bait.
things that Vida mentioned before
I would
is
kill
that
you if we were gonna have
because
couple
of
bait
the
shooting and
setting,
up.
because of the Hosm technology and because of how we need to value. There has to be value to attacking something, but not really taking its hit points away, which is where staggers and the stagger mechanics really come in. For example, with the scattergun is one of the best tools you have to force a stagger at short range, not melee range, but at short range, to a target that you manage to land all of your darts on. So we're going to continue advancing, explore this space. Shall we activate the special?
Just wait till you get
energy?
in a little bit of trouble.
Let's get a bit of trouble. So, kind of along the corridor, I will zoom in with my magical Mark
Sniper
1
rifle?
eyeball to try to spot the baddies.
Okay, no, I don't think you know scope on that gun.
Slowly. No. There we go. Right. Pull back.
Just
Main
be in
charge
there.
will
Yep.
proceed to compel. Tactically withdraw.
He didn't.
Heroically running away.
Oof. Okay. I need to. This is the other element. We need
Yeah, I
to
feel like when we get into
disposition
combat, it does very much remind me a lot of like very early
Let's
Overpublic.
push through. Nice.
to like the mobility of it.
I have my abilities.
It's very much about positioning and tactical.
Yo,
combat.
how you doing, homie? Hang on. What now? It is supposed to be a live stream on the updated combat. Send the video. Yes. So I ended up missing it because they did it early morning, and I may or may not forgot what day it was, and I missed half of it. So I waited till they got done with the stream so we could watch the VOD of it. But yeah, this is gonna be combat focus, guilds and social stuff, and then a Q&A stuff. At least that's what they said at the beginning. And then also the announcement of it, you know, being kicked back like 20 days since it got delayed. But yeah, this is mainly like breaking down the combat and like the strategy behind the combat. But welcome. I believe in PvP 100% time. I think we all will, Wag. Let me will. We all will.
As you saw, the NPC was actually doing a knee charge against you because they have the same abilities as we do.
But yeah, there's a stream for you if you wanna find out more about combat stuff.
He was just reloading, yes.
But yeah, they pretty much going over shields and the different type of weapons right now.
To maybe be a little bit more clever with when they reload versus shielded characters. That's a future team conversation.
Maybe you can at least imbibe some spice beer so you're ready for it.
Absolutely. Let's see. Let's take before we go any further. Let's.
Are we getting ready to get high, chat?
Now push our bar upwards, and we have to wait a few ticks for it to get ready. We're not going to trigger it yet. We're going to wait for the go signal before we get spicy.
Also, you can do that via food or drinks, but also sometimes it kind of goes up organically.
I mean, if you go to a spice field, you will inhale spice directly.
So just a that I just feel.
And you can also see the particles in the air. You actually see it. That's very interesting.
Okay, remind me of that. I haven't heard about that, Wag.
We'll keep eyes out for the other characters here.
I need more information on that.
Oh, finish him.
Oh no!
Oh, he's gonna come.
Oh, I didn't press keyboard fault, not my fault. I actually tried to dodge, or technically dash. Push through the shield. Nice.
Okay, so that's like a dagger animation, isn't it?
With a blade.
So I've got the shotgun dagger and then just did the stab to finish.
Read the telegraph on the knee charge and move tactically to the side. I had failed. I pressed the wrong button, but it's okay. Success was still had. Right, and here, because we're in an eco lab, it is actually not the easiest place. Should we activate our power here?
Sure.
Let's do it. So, we're entering the pressing state.
What do we do when we get high,
As
chat?
I said prior, we have increased output of damage, we have reduced cooldowns on our abilities, and more importantly, we have information. And information is ammunition that we can use to succeed.
Yeah, you have to actually
I would not
see
bet
the
I want
enemies
to be.
first, but
I want to be Devil Trigger. I wasn't betting that,
you are
chat.
conscious of where they are.
So, I
Oh.
will actually try to utilize the place.
So wait, show what weapon they have and no HP?
I will float and fight.
Oh yeah, that's totally a HP ball.
Please hit. No, okay. No, like. Go that way.
You did see the buff activate on the right side from your passives
I need to engage
while
this
you were floating.
Dash sideways. 1, 2, 3, dash away. Fence.
Yeah, they don't look like any like.
Parry.
What are they locking on?
Success.
They're not like reticle to like show a lock on. But they look like they were kind of moving like they were locked on a little bit.
If you go against higher tiered enemies, you will have to use more of those. So that's obviously more challenging.
Normally, the first time players experience a location that they're undergeared for, they need to be much. Ooh, that's interesting.
Also, do we take more damage for headshots? I wonder.
Yeah, and you shall.
Oh yeah, they all locking on. So this is what they were talking about so combat.
You weren't parrying. You were holding block actually.
I didn't feel comfortable in the situation to try to risk it. How did he die? I guess he exploded. That's interesting. Let's push forward. Let's see what we encounter. Let's actually.
Man, this Devil Trigger thing lasts a long time, doesn't it? I'm guessing that what the ball is in between the ability in the middle of the queen.
Go.
I was betting it to be like,
You also see now,
yeah,
of course,
maybe
that the
like a minute at most.
Going down, yeah.
And as you saw there, Alex was preparing before the next encounter. You really should prepare before you go into every encounter.
Especially if you play solo, right? You have to be way more careful right now.
Oh, they banging so hard,
Wag. It's okay. It's just a question of how many resources players are willing to sacrifice.
To no chat. I don't care what this ability called, the whole fight being high shit. I don't care what they call it. All Devil Trigger.
See here what you mentioned
It is officially a Devil
Trigger.
Trigger.
like Alex is really trying to.
I'm only gonna call it by a name when I do videos on it.
His fights, right? Like trying to separate enemies, trying to go for.
But no, in my heart, it's truly a devil juggle.
To not have to fight everyone.
Yeah.
I compelled the heavy there to force them into a long CC effect while dispatching his friend. I'm going to come back now and solve the problem. Okay? Oh no.
And this is the first time we see a heavy in this.
Let's see, let's switch the disruptor, and we need to use our explosive damage to get a little bit of chip on him. Not that much chip, but let's see what happens.
Man, that shield is strong on him.
1, 2, 3. Push through. Disengage, see if he decides to bubble. No. Another hit. Okay. No.
Yeah, I feel like the poison doesn't do that much damage.
And they're very good.
Oh, you got a lot of HP right now.
What are the that was very close. Okay.
He was just about to do a suspensor blast, which would incapacitate Alex.
One of the big things that players will experience is that even though, as we listed prior, even though an individual character is quite easy to handle, the second you mismanage space or mismanage resources, it becomes very, very tricky. I need to stop speaking of focus. It becomes very, very tricky
to
handle the output that everything is from, which is why I need to try to focus these guys down quickly. CC him, disengage, reposition.
I jokingly say running away bravely, but like it's really a tactic.
It's a smart tactic sometimes.
You should try to get away from it, regroup, and then go back in with a plan. Because going up against a lot of enemy solo is
you can really tell about like how much AP the enemy got. Like the MMO part of this is starting to show now.
Appears to be a ring. Ooh, okay, let's check this way.
You know, not like very quick kills or anything.
Right. So again, we'll compel him away from this problem, and then we'll press the opposite direction. And we'll try to dispatch his friends quickly. It's not me, it's the hardware. Into melee, blocking. No, I failed. Okay, recharge. Recharge successful, push through.
Boom.
Abilities allow you to bypass. Can I? Yes, I can. No, okay.
Yeah, the combat really does seem like there could be like much more like what people sizzle type of deal.
Stamina, which is why my abilities were not usable. I pulled away to regenerate my stamina, re-heal to be safe. I could probably have succeeded the fight. I just didn't want to choose to risk my resources because everything in Dune costs time, costs investment. Why risk when you can make things a little bit more successful?
Right, and you might even have lost your shield because of the minion.
I guess on the other side, I get making it more like what people sizzle, like just doing like specific like attack. I get that calm down the whole thing of just spamming attack constantly.
Stamina won't always regenerate depending on actions that you do. You won't regenerate stamina as you sprint, for instance. We have a few more fixes coming in for this as well, but it will be a much more valuable and an important aspect of combat.
This version is not on the beta, right?
No, this is not on the beta.
Right, so this is the first time beta players could be potentially seeing the changes that are upcoming.
Yeah.
Interesting. Lovely lore tidbit. Let's press the button. People can enjoy the text on screen while we proceed to succeed.
That's actually the boss that is talking.
It's the leader of this this area, Inhaler.
I don't see any contacts. We'll push forward and further and okay. This looks like a space or something. Here we go. Right. So my pressing instinct has depleted.
Oh yeah.
Which is why I don't see the character's lovely highlights to tell me what they're about to do. So I need to choose.
Is it ninja time count?
Much less. With
Are we
much
ninny?
less information.
And we can see here what's happening now is that he's in withdrawal, so we can't actually consume spice. He needs to wait for the combat bar to go down, then he can consume spice. However, he will have to consume more spice now than he did in the first round because his tolerance is growing. And this can go up to quite a high level where you'll have to
how do you reset it?
In order to be able to go pressure.
Shall we?
Is it like one of them things like where's that in or something?
I will know. I will focus on the game.
I wonder if it's like a constant.
Okay,
like,
let's see what this character is doing.
Yeah, dang.
Let's compel.
Or could you talk to like an NPC or something, reset your addiction level so lower for so you can use the ability more.
See what he does. I'm not there anymore.
I was not expecting we were gonna have to detox chat.
And I can't hit him. Right. Wait again.
You can now you feel like they do nothing.
Let's see what happens. We're gonna finish and get our success opportunity. Oh, no.
I think it's because you don't see like any like movement in the enemy, so they just feel like they have no impact.
And let us rearm and re-equip. We'll press this button to rearm this gun. We'll press this button that's already reloaded. Scattergun is reloaded. Disruptor ready. Let's rock and roll. Right, I kind of know this layout. We're gonna go down the stairs.
So they said it would beta. Hopefully that's something. That'd be like right now watching gameplay be like a feedback on that. So I don't feel like get any like impact or weight, especially with explosions.
Spice is the fuel of the Empire. It is a lovely resource. It is expensive, but we are on Arrakis. Therefore, unlike most characters in the universe, we have easy access to it.
And to be fair, we're cheating right now a little bit when it comes to spawning items, spawning the beer.
It's fine. Mostly. Let's observe.
No, but you will be able to craft spice beer, spice coffee yourself, and you'll also sometimes.
Oh, we
find
chugging
it,
fight coffee. We doing a chat.
Okay, that's a
And
good
again,
this
if you're
way.
like getting close to spice field, it would also.
If I don't
We're gonna be the coffee kids from South Park. Are gonna happen, chat. All tolerant can be high.
Is this making me think of my Jack?
There we go.
Oh god, I haven't heard about that in forever.
From 2 attackers. Okay, let's speak in more focus. Sorry. What is he doing? He's being compelled. You'll approach.
God, I haven't thought about that game forever, Sam.
Nice.
Are we talking just like combat wise, or are we talking about the ability they are using to make the people walk to them by brainwashing them? Also, is it a good or a bad thing they were reminding you of that? That's the next question.
We're alone. We continue. I believe we are 2 rooms away from our final destination. Let's see how well we overcome this. We have 1 shooter, 1 fighter.
Well, everything.
Okay, I will try to quickly.
Who knows? Maybe somebody devs worked on it or something. I have no idea. Is it a you thing right now? That my mind going like over public. With guns. I do think the guns look fine.
I'm sorry. I will count.
Like gun combat it seems totally passive.
Successful. Oh, that's his friend. Parry.
Nice.
Counter.
The only thing about the gun combat, I need to ask Joe whenever Joe around. I think Joe played.
This character is actually also, like Billy was saying beforehand, a little bit pushed to the edge.
Oh god, the Ubisoft MMO about the apocalypse.
Things that are helping me. I'm
the name of the game came to me at the moment.
Exactly.
But I'm interested in Dune though. I want to play Troima 202.
Let me do a quick rotation.
And to join the Fight Guild, that too, right?
That I can exploit.
But
to go another way. Well,
Division, that's the game I'm thinking of. Yeah, but like the gun combat with the HP seemed like Division a little bit. Especially when we're fighting the tough enemies. You know, being a little bored Bungie.
There we go. We shall drink. Get more stamina. Is there a second?
No.
No? No? Okay, 1 is enough. Even without the bonus, it's good not to go too far close to the red. All right, let's continue our experience.
This gives me anxiety to just walk past loot boxes. That is like so.
Sorry, developers.
Gotta open all the boxes.
Developers.
I'm with the lady on this.
Let's continue through.
Like just get me all the shiny. That's a little bit of an import there.
We ought to be somewhere near one of the primary events.
So this is where we come to the blood door. You can pass through, but you cannot exit until you've taken care of all the enemies inside.
Oh, this isn't one of the key doors?
Blood door is started off as an internal keyword for us. These are technically Holtzman shields that have been specifically configured for very, very specific purposes. To make
Lord,
experience
making gameplay, yeah.
We should proceed through. Now,
because I know in the last Dev Livestream they talked about getting key to open certain doors.
However,
obviously they're not one of them, I guess.
And sometimes not friends also follow.
This is true.
And this is where some of the deep desert ecology become very, very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so this location.
So this is just pretty much the quote-unquote boss fight arena for the end of the dungeon.
3 paths, left, middle, and right, and there is also an underside. I happen to know this because I've reviewed this Ecolab a couple of times, and I will pretend like I don't, but I do. We will engage with this piece of content, doing a clockwise rotation, going left and around. Let's see how well we do. We will try not to aggro too much because, as we saw previously, if I make a mistake, I am punished. We will try to minimize mistakes.
What the pun, man?
To not risk being heard. until we absolutely.
I'm curious. I'm curious what the punishment
That's a
is.
heavy.
Is
This
it
is bad
FP
location.
loss? Is it
I should not have gone this way.
damage on
I
armor?
need to use this box to keep cover from the heavy. Let's see how long my shield can hold before I... Nice, okay, please shield.
God, that shield almost did give out. He was like 2 more hits
Shield.
and it would have been out.
Shield, compel. Run through. We will not fight him because we don't have the resources to. We will engage. No, I missed. Oh, yeah. No, stop. Please finish. Okay, stab. Finish, crouch. Get below line of fire. That guy doesn't see us yet. Okay, we have resources. We're going to go in.
Oh, so not like an
This
instant
is a
trigger?
marksman that I happen to
Okay, so we all doing the
He's
MMO
quite
thing of
dangerous
like
if he's not
line of
dispatched
sight. Any of
quickly.
you like
They
killing
proceed
everybody
second
around
level
now.
poison damage on our
They
players.
might not still engage.
We will not
Only.
fight the heavy because that is a dangerous proposition. Instead, continue to rotate around the location to dispatch his prey. Actually,
Yeah, this is where the MMO part on the show.
let me see. Maybe it's not so bad. Yeah, let's do that.
You know,
Let's
like
get
the
rid of
normal
this
like
guy
clunkiness you
before
get in MMO when it comes to mobs.
Compel, advance. No. Alex. Stab the body. Stab. No, get away. Recharge. No, I don't have any stamina. No.
That's exactly
Okay, to
because
answer the
until
question, so
Grace
green
was
ball is
managed.
stamina, yellow ball is
Power
is shields,
No,
and then where the hell?
Try again.
And of course, blue
Dash
is
in.
drinking.
Thanks. Great. Follow. Staggered. Push through.
Yeah, I do feel like
Even a combat
melee.
designer can play
it's gonna be a
perfectly
little
every
while.
single time. That's
It's the
totally
hardware.
fine.
Please
Yes,
don't blame
it's
me.
the hardware
It's
and the
okay.
gaming chair.
I am actually disappointed that my pressing state is depleted yet again. It is not very efficient to not know how many hit points the opposition has. However, we will make do.
Well, something changed
Normally
like when
people
you are
won't
actually playing
explain
it.
so much as they have the pressure.
Because I still
state
haven't
basically
actually been
because
able
he
to
lost
play
quite a
this
bit
yet. I
of
never
it.
got
It
invited
does
to any
like-
of the
it
cold
does last
betas,
quite-
sadly.
What did I get? Pull back a little bit. See what happens. It's a heavy and a.
And aside from combat like this now, he's in withdrawal, and you start seeing these pink elements showing up every now and then. So after a while, you might start seeing things that aren't there if you trigger pressions too often.
Oh, that's
Whereas that
interesting.
spice can like.
So you would start
influence the
seeing
character in
shit?
all different kinds of ways.
So you almost
Okay,
have to
chat.
there.
I think we just won't become too addicted, chat.
Next weapon.
That could be kind of cool.
Despite all of your promo for the game,
And then
tut.
let's
I
look
know
around
why.
to see-
Flip
let's actually
table seal.
reload before we push further.
I have like
It's
20
not
some odd
good.
video
Fine,
probably. I don't know how many
step
videos.
down,
I got a decent amount of
See,
videos on
see.
this.
I
So
believe we have cleared the left and right, and now we need to have a look at the middle.
I haven't even reached out to them and I haven't hauled a damn thing
Yep.
back.
Yes,
So
we do.
Have we cleared it?
Let's have a floating detonator. 3, 2, 1, click.
who knows? Maybe
Some
we'll get
damage.
lucky and get into
So
the
this,
non-NDA
assault
beta
seeker
that's coming up
actually
in
has
May.
double functionality where you can throw it
Depending
and
on what the
explode in
requirements is
contact,
for
or
that.
you can trigger it as it moves towards the target, or past the target even.
Push through the shield. Nice. Reload equipment. Reloaded.
But yeah, I know recently, I think it was last month,
No, wait.
they literally shipped out a whole bunch of people to the UK to play this. Like a whole bunch of content
Oh,
creators.
I missed time. That was too far.
And I know the embargo lift on the 25th where the content creators can start
There we
making
go.
stuff.
Great.
So I'm very curious about that. Also, I'm
We'll
kind
see
of
if
curious
the
to
door's
know
still
if they
locked
only
over, so
invited like
there's enemies
European
left.
Yeah,
content
that's the way
creators.
we need to go. So we need to find the remainder of the encounters.
Yeah.
Hey, and from this.
And also, I'm
vantage
curious if
point,
Josh ended up going
we
to
will
that.
Absolutely.
You know, since I think Josh lived in London, to my knowledge.
That's where you go comes into play specifically.
No.
Oh, he gonna die,
bad,
chat.
bad. No, that's also bad. Please don't.
There's gonna be the pulpit
Don't
dev
have any-
stream, well, the main character constantly
When
gonna
you
die,
said
isn't it?
they shipped out a whole
That's my
bunch of
experience with this
people,
equal
I
app
was
as well.
thinking
It
about
can get
something
out
else
of hand
similar
really
as
quickly if
Frog.
you're not very careful if you solo this.
Where is it?
Wait, shipped out bun people.
Heal, where's the heavy? If he's going
No,
forward,
not
I'll
that
go
kind.
right.
Shipping out people.
1
No,
health pack, 2 health pack. Stay
not
low.
that kind.
Stay low, stay safe. I have stamina. I have
These people
resources.
actually gotta go
Let's
home.
Daggers to hand. He was right here. There he is. Quantum bomb. Bam.
I'm just choosing to ignore you.
Yeah, they do. They need some type of like impact animation on that.
Dagger through. Oh no, wait. Give me my cooldowns back. And stamina. Stamina's 1. Compel. Dagger.
Cause like I said, doing the lap dev event, you know, that was more like environmental, like moving around with a little bit of combat, a little bit of PvP.
I chose not to. I believe we've mostly cleared the space.
But yeah, they very much remind me of Old Republic in a lot of ways.
Go.
At least at launch anyway. God know what that game like nowadays.
To there. To there.
Yeah, you see the door screen there. So we're not going to go through the next room. That's where Inna Hiller, the leader of this Ecolab or this testing station, is. We're gonna end the solo play.
We're not gonna see the boss.
Not spoil the boss here.
No,
yes. Even though we heard her talk actually earlier, so it's like we're not gonna kill her this time around. So that gives us the opportunity to now from solo gameplay go into group gameplay. We're gonna
here we go. See him. Are you ready?
Set up
now that we've seen how dungeons work,
we're gonna watch a quick video first, and then we'll be right back with more gameplay for you to watch.
And then you can be the ad promoting all the apps set up, probably.
Is this a mobile game?
No, it's not. Look at it. It's running on Windows 95. It's not. Oh yeah, they posted a video like a couple days ago. Like going, if I remember, I think it was like being able to use like the music from the old games. Yeah, being able to use the music from like the RTSs and stuff from like the 90s. Yeah, in-game radio. Wait, coming to in-game radio starting May 20. They did not update this ad. They did not update the ad at all. West and Pete out of date ad. But hey, boy, you played the old DOS games.
And we are back again, as we mentioned. We're gonna set up.
Wasn't it like the DOS Dune game was
to actually go? We already?
I think that was on like
Sega. Was super efficient
what,
because we were
CD
actually,
or something at some point.
We're gonna talk a little bit more about the differences between the Ecolab that we just went through solo and the Ecolab that we're actually going through now in group play. We can still do that. Actually, we can explain that a little bit as well because
okay, here we go.
The approach is going to be quite different. Plus, also we see more group viability or like group gameplay, group like what's the term I'm looking for?
Coordination.
Coordination.
Thank
you.
Planning. Exactly. Well, a little bit more of them planning because these locations are in the deep desert, so you have to have a fair bit of planning and protection because.
Okay, so 4 members in a party.
Yeah, the deep desert ecolabs, they are in PvP areas, so you.
I'm pretty sure that's why you did.
PvP here, obviously.
Wait, hang on. I got a background.
Higher tier armor. They have better weapons. They have more abilities as well. Plus, but you're probably
gonna dance
that later on as well. The approach and the mechanics in this type of ecolapses.
And not a co-op dungeon to someone dancing.
The enemies are much more aggressive.
And you guys locked me in a box.
Enemies.
The weaponry
and the gadgets and abilities they use against you are more advanced. Also here, the blood doors have an additional function where waves will spawn. So not only do you have to clear the room once, you have to clear it. You have to clear all the waves before you can actually continue to the loot.
Is it different? Like if it's the same dungeon, but the waves also co-op
areas. PvP,
the non-co-op is a dude.
Works differently.
Troy,
so
did you know 18 people are watching?
Everybody gets the loot.
Troy 202.
Because anyone going up to the loot box, exactly.
Thank you all for watching.
However, here you have to trust that the
Thank you for being here, everybody.
Actually will share it with you.
If you're new here, be sure to follow and subscribe.
So better make sure you have a good friend.
Well, your number one stop for Doom Awakening and all that jazz. There you go.
We just used we just cut down the door, as you saw. This is the same technology as is used to harvest rocks and materials out in the world.
The players are going to advance through the first of the blood doors, exploring the space around them. And we will experience.
I think Camille playing, so he is actually.
Okay, Chad. I need 3 of you, Chad. You and CM, why? I'm pretty sure you and I don't know who else in chat is going to be getting this.
I love these. These are so different just to seeing desert all of the time. It's lovely.
I do recommend having a shot caller on the team, someone who coordinates, because if everybody just do their own thing, these enemies
not gonna happen,
not only higher tier, they have more health, they have they're much more aggressive.
My shot caller would be like, go kill stuff and give me loot.
You won't do damage to your friends with normal darts, things like that, whatever area effects.
Yeah, because I will have it day one,
the
so
will actually damage your friends. They won't take full damage, but you should be careful.
So everything that
I should say
does
on the
area
5th I get
damage,
now.
right, will also kind of damage to your friends.
So things like poison, explosives, flame, when delivered in an AoE, which is also flamethrower, and in a deployable, like you showed me using the assault seeker beforehand. And CC effects like suspensor grenade or reduction grenades are also applied in full. So you really need to manage where you deploy your AoE CCs to not hamper your allies.
Wait. Does he mean we have Pentley Friendly File after like the bombs and stuff because on?
They will rearm and re-equip and be ready to rock and roll.
I'm sorry, CM, I'm gonna set you on file. I'm sorry.
Very focused on the gameplay.
They also have different builds, different abilities equipped, different.
Yeah, they're like
weapons,
AoE poison indeed.
Which is interesting. These ones switch between those.
I had a big area. My God.
Like we saw one player focusing an NPC and then we immediately
Don't worry. I will let you stick a grenade to the back of my Keltor head while I run into a cloud. It'll be fine.
Exhibit in these locations. While they may not be obvious until you're actually playing these places, these NPCs are significantly stronger, they're faster, they are much more dangerous.
Yeah, it makes sense the NPCs would go up since you're in a group.
Not getting it now. I can't have you accidentally killing me.
I'm sorry. Don't worry. Not gonna be permanent. We'll be fine. Every time I accidentally kill me, you can kill me twice. How about that?
More often as well. I do want to mention one thing again to the beta players, that we have listened to feedback when it comes to how friendly fire works.
Oh, here we go.
Friendly fire will still be valid for groups, but we are reworking how they affect guilds, basically.
Prior to this change, both guild mates and group mates were considered allies for the purposes of not taking damage.
Wait, why are they separating now? Are they separating it out with like less damage if you're in a guild together?
The green effect, which is basically a passive of the Swordmaster archetype. If you kill someone, it will be.
I did realize something.
I think the first level is 15% more damage for the next.
Hear me out, chat. They could do like the Dark Zone stuff, chat. Now thinking about it. The whole thing where you go in as a team, get to the end, maybe get some loot, and then you can just mortal your team and take the loot.
It's good group play.
This is very good.
I wonder if they're gonna do that since we got friendly file.
It's almost as if they're knowing what they're doing.
Right?
or they're just friendly file to make more strategy for the fights. And not anything more than that.
A little bit of healing.
What we saw there was quick looting. They looted them quickly.
That could get interesting, especially playing with like, picking up pub games.
Quick looting where you just hit spacebar and you get them one by one.
I think that person's actually kind of poisoned right now. If I like that, you can see the.
Cause they are still looting corpses, so maybe that's it. You kill all the dudes and then you kill your team and then you just loot everything.
Especially both. Both in PvE and PvP, they have a use case. Not only will they force NPCs to move, because NPCs don't like to be in bad clouds of green stuff, it also forces players in PvP to actually make a choice between, do I want to stay here and suffer this small but eventually significant effect, or do I want to reposition and heal? There are many ways to use these, and players are, that's a very close binding.
That was really nice there, though, like almost out of stamina, like,
Did we mention?
really nicely played, though.
I don't think we mentioned, but enemies will, oh, yeah, you saw one, and enemies will actually, sometimes they run away and you wonder what they're doing. They're doing the same thing the player is doing. They're actually running away to heal so that they can come back.
And they can, of course, also revive.
I'm going to chase people down on tight.
Down but not out as well, like players.
Are the NPC not going to be allowed to drink on sippy cup, chat?
Light machine gun, the character build just there that we saw a second.
Oh yeah.
That's a throwback to the one.
The turret. Yeah. I was about to mention it earlier because we've seen it a few times now. We haven't actually commented on it, which is.
Here we see it, the turret.
Yes, which is a mentor ability, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's like actually one of the first mentor abilities. And now we're in prescient state again. So
that's what NPC in games. Let's see how well we do.
I do gotta say, I do like how in co-op, you know, it does seem a little more chaotic, probably because of the waves it dumps.
And succeed and receive the rewards.
Depends on the hardware, from what I understand.
Yeah, and also it doesn't seem nearly as like melee focused.
It has controller support on release. If it doesn't, then I won't be able to play Poro's Sad.
I need to look and see. I think you're gonna have controller support.
Here we go. 1, 2. Ooh. Through the shield.
Like I need to look and see if they announced it out.
He's still focusing on.
I feel like it should.
That's a flamethrower heavy.
Yeah, would it come into console
we've seen
at some point?
A knife earlier, and now we actually see a sword in action.
One of the big differences that I didn't mention before is the.
Because I feel like I think it will. If I remember, I think on the last showcase, like the last showcase they did when they were just going through the environment, they had like the AB, you know, triangle stuff on the screen. I'm pretty sure that was the case.
Right now, but soon TM will be.
I will see. Hang on, let me double check that.
Have a gameplay role that players can choose to enjoy, and those gameplay roles will be meaningful and engaging, and they will have distinct counters and strengths and weaknesses.
I mean, I gotta say it again. I love melee. I'm like, it's my build. Like, I combine swordmaster skills, chest read skills, and I absolutely love it.
On the theme page, it does say F-bomb control.
Because I either want to be super far away and kill people really fast or in their face. Like,
it might not be compatible with like PS5. So they specifically saying F-bomb on the theme page. So heads up on that.
Ooh, that's a lot of pressure from 2 NPCs. Oh no. So here we see some special NPCs. These NPCs.
But yeah, I would be playing it with controller well. Other than like maybe menuing.
Wherein the actions and abilities that they can throw out are much more.
Oh, that dude's gonna die, Chad.
Yeah, there we go.
Right now. Oh my god.
You guys have to work harder to survive. Let's go. No cheating.
You just got combo into oblivion. But yeah, I'm hoping that like we can do control and then instantly go to mouthful menu. I hope it's not like a setting and an option. Because man, that would suck if that's the case.
That players do. They are on a lower cooldown and they are much more.
Does it say anywhere how many waves there are?
Yep. Aggressive.
Let's
go with
But
aggressive.
the purple at the top is where your teammates are.
Oh, they defeated the wave.
They did actually. Yeah,
I did say the thing, like I did.
Oh, and they're prepping as well with turrets and everything, right?
Also getting
Let's see where the next wave comes in from. Oh, bubbles. Bubbles everywhere. A bit of focus.
Very nice there. You can see all the abilities that specific NPC has.
Access granted.
They need to defeat all of the NPCs before the next wave triggers. Oh, actually, was that the last wave?
I was just wondering that. I was just about to ask.
I believe our friends
Yeah, I'm glad they don't have like a number somewhere for like the waves.
Good job.
Good job, team. It was wonderful.
And we can see here on the left, in the lower left corner, that they're all grouped up. You see the names of them and everything. So
right. Yes.
Good going group. Good going team.
Absolutely.
And also, by the way, since I said the thing.
Make sure you keep hitting
someone you have to have a sacrificial
like
And now that
they should like, favorite, and subscribe, Jack.
Where trust is tested.
That should be new to the channel. We'll need more Dune coverage.
Who gets the loot?
Exactly.
Who knows?
Well, you have a leader. You have a leader who hopefully like distributes loot fairly. But yeah, you nicely see there the group set. Actually, the group setup just changed.
Okay.
Oh,
they are finally looting. I feel better now. They're finally opening boxes.
Who?
Also, you can tell these are dev planes because they're not instantly taking everything.
Nice.
It's one of those moments when friends decide not to be nice to each other.
You know nothing. Nothing gets left behind
when
me or anyone else play this.
Is it like keep your friends close? No, keep your enemy close. No, keep your friends close, your enemy closer.
Oh, from the second perspective.
I wonder as well, Chow. Not only like the whole telling you how many waves. I wonder if you got a map for this area.
2-on-2 player fight.
Like we haven't really seen a map at all outside of like going between the soldiers.
There's going to be effects going off. We will see if we can comment as best as we can to what's happening.
See, there's someone dead there already.
Oh, they took somebody down. That was very fast.
Is it 2 versus 1 now?
Stamina
Or is it, yeah, 2 versus 1.
Yeah, also the other time, we don't have like the HP of our team anywhere on screen.
is very nice.
Oh, someone went prescient.
Cheating!
Well done,
cheating.
camel cowboying it, which I don't think it is.
I would call it cheating. If someone goes prescient and I can't, it's obviously cheating. Someone has
I believe somebody got betrayed.
Looks like it.
Can they actually use a voice on you?
Banish with skill on a friend. That's like the ultimate betrayal. If you
wait a minute, we're doing PvP stuff right now,
on
aren't we?
your
My
friend.
bad.
That is just
My bad. It was like we were killing our team.
Who is the better player?
My bad, chat.
This is an interesting fight.
This is very close.
Yeah.
It's very close.
Yeah, I think the visual cue of your teammate over NPC is probably another thing they need to work on.
It's 1v1.
And then we saw.
Well, this answers my question about going to the dungeon and killing your teammate and killing the loot.
So does that.
That answered my question on that.
Needs to be a little bit more ability use and a little bit better stamina management. Bank your stamina and deploy it in one big burst.
Actually, you don't see the stamina on the other player, even if you're prescient, which is actually really
the reason why you can't sit on HP.
Boom.
Oh, that's close. It almost got
I wonder if that's the reason. Because if you can see the AP and stamina, you
just like throw his head back and his headphone just went flying. It's just like, well done there, team. Well done.
That can only be one.
That can only be one. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I would not bet a high on
make sure you have close friends before if you go into these type of collabs.
Like these kind of situations is actually one of the paradigms that we've designed the game around, which is making friends and enemies. We don't really care which is which, but if you're making friends, if you're making enemies, the game will sustain itself, I think.
Remember to belong the way.
Exactly.
I would care who are my friends. You don't care who is which, but it's
Joe and X might be a different discussion, but
people. So there you go. Like in terms of friends and enemies and enemies.
I very much enjoyed that. I didn't expect the double backstab at all.
the double backstab.
Well,
okay,
plans within plans. You know, that's how it goes.
No pun intended. Who was the instigator? I blame Camille, by the way, behind the scenes there.
I think I saw him play some mime or something.
He's denying it. I don't believe him. I don't believe him. I'm 100% sure. I know it wasn't.
Not like a completely like.
My mind was committed. Anyway,
A zone.
that was the combat section.
Like,
Thank you so much, Vilja and Alex.
More like flowing within the game itself.
We have, of course,
I think they say you can turn it off, though, to my knowledge, outside that one zone.
Today, beta weekend coming up that a lot of players will be able to enjoy and test the Combat in Dune Awakening themselves. You will be able to stream. You will be able
I'm not a
to
fan of usually of PvP, but I'm good with the overlapping of game
Sometime
design
next month,
of it.
More concrete information regarding that will, of course, come soon from our side. But before we dive into the next segment,
so they don't have the actual like information on that.
Right back.
So that beta stuff, like announcement, probably like super recent. I wonder if that one of them cases of them being like, okay, we need to delay that and being like, oh shit. Okay, fine, beta, you know.
Dune Awakening
so the game will probably be out in May anyway.
Game on a massive scale, where the open, ever-changing world ensures
I'm looking to see if they have posted anything about it yet.
Join us as we traverse the breathtaking landscapes and uncover what the sands have hidden.
Yeah, this is a trailer we have seen hundreds of times.
And learn to overcome the deadly environment. Collect materials to craft a shelter, still suit, and your first
beta sign up. Here we go.
Then venture into the desert. With a scanning module installed, you can scan for resources in smaller areas, or climb the highest peaks.
Yeah, they have the beta sign up on the side. I think it's the same beta sign up that already existed.
Terrain and important locations like shipwrecks or abandoned Imperial testing stations. Traverse difficult terrain with tools like the Shigawire Claw and Suspensor Belt, and claim powerful tech and gear.
Oh god, the website breaking up. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry, the website is breaking up. We get 4K footage in the background. My bad, chat.
Even the most remote expanses of
I get we look at that little train.
In the deep desert, massive Coriolis storms.
But yeah, you can sign up on the website though right now. But like I said, I think that's still the old sign up.
Changing the entire map every week. As new resources and secrets are revealed, The race to
I am
survey
still
the
curious
vast new
about the whole
landscape
weekly reset
begins
stuff
anew.
of, like, you know, the dungeon.
Be the first to mark the location
You know,
of
bringing
precious
up new
resources.
dungeons. I'm
Then
still
give
curious
them
how
out to your
many,
allies, or sell it to
how many
other players on
variables
the
is it to
exchange.
that?
Here,
And what
there
is the
are no
tournament
paths to
weight of
tread,
repeats?
only power to claim. This is infinite exploration.
And is it gonna be like
This
mid and
is
match,
Arrakis.
or if it like if we on a rotation, say you have 2 dungeons, and then you wait however long before you know you come back around?
All right.
Will them 2 dungeons
and
still be
we
there,
are back.
or is it gonna be like mid and match depending on the week? I
We
wonder.
know that, of course, we're following comments and
then how many
things
all
that we see
day?
on the internet, on our social channels, and we know that some of you have been concerned regarding Head Start and how our servers actually work. What the hell was that? Stop it!
They're trying to get a sponsorship
guy.
chat.
It's the worst.
I can do it too.
No, anyway. So we, of course, have heard your concerns. Thank you. So we know which troublemakers are actually sitting on the side here. I'll introduce him soon enough. Don't worry.
Oh, don't worry. We know
but
who
anyway,
he
we're
is.
going to talk about server structure. And
Okay.
also social play, like because
Yes.
some
Give
of
me
you
the
were
social
concerned
information.
If someone starts Head Start,
I need to know how
and
the fight
you,
goal guild gonna
start
operate.
later. Can you still play with your friends? How is that going to work for groups and guilds and all those things? And we're actually going to talk about this. And here to talk about that is this troublemaker, Joel.
My name is Chris. No.
Game Oh my god.
You always a handful, chat.
Save me, please. No. The game director, you know him, you love him, maybe you hate him, I don't know. No, we'll love him.
I'm sure it'll be
Despite
both.
everything.
Equal elements of both.
Yeah,
like
someone
yin and
out there.
But you want to introduce yourself quickly anyway, just to chat
Sure, my
for
name
those.
is Chris Knife. I'm the creative director on Dune Awakening. And I'm joined here by luscious Leo.
Yeah.
And Leo, you are?
I'm Leo. I'm
Late
lead
back,
game
Leo.
designer on Dune Awakening. And yeah, as that, I manage the design team here in Oslo, and I also work with building systems and the social systems.
Indeed.
Right.
And this is going to be one of those sections you all love where we talk and we don't show gameplay for a few seconds.
That's true. We have assets though. We have videos and little
There's
cool videos
there's a
visual assets.
very cool infographic that someone made.
Which we're having on the screen any second now because we talk about server structure.
That was the wrong
That is not the one. That is the right one. Perfect.
Well
There we go.
done.
Again,
Champion.
it's a live stream. Well, with a live stream, without some hiccups.
All right.
Anyway, please, Joel, talk to us about server structure, servers, worlds, all the good stuff.
All right, cool.
Let's see if we can get separated in a party scene.
So Dune Awakening has a very unique, somewhat different server structure to the type of games you'd expect. If you're a survival player, you're probably used to one map, one server. But Dune Awakening has kind of a larger server structure on the back end. So we have what we call worlds. Worlds are made up of multiple servers, which we call internally sietches. So often when you join a sietch, you'll see here in this infographic that Hager Basin has this big stack of sietches. So when you sign up, you'll choose your world and then you'll join a sietch within that world. Each of those Hager Basin sietches contains maximum 40 players per map, but all of those maps add up to create the entire world. The Deep Desert, the social hubs like Harko Village and Arakeen, they are actually shared social spaces in the world. The Deep Desert being the big PvP area in the world. And of course, so we're talking about, we have this 5-day head start. I know people are concerned. The thing is, you'll be able to join worlds that we open during that head start. We will also open more worlds when the game launches. But you can also join a sietch in a world that isn't necessarily the same sietch as your friend, but you'll be able to go and visit your friend. You'll be able to do a lot of stuff with your friends. So
Are we doing like how
you're not going to be
14 does? I
locked
wonder.
out for the most part of any content when you join after the head start. Also, I would say get better friends and let them buy you the head start. That's another thing I think is a really good option.
That's the way to go.
Yeah, you also said 40 players per max per server or siege. What happens if someone joins anyway? If there's
If more than 40 people try to join at one time, so it's concurrent users, so CCU.
Go on, keep it
and that
together.
means that then they'll be put into a queue to wait to join. So we can have more characters on a server than 40. We can have, several hundred. But that means people play at different times of day when people join, so there will be a queuing system in place to allow people to wait in line to get into the service.
Like me and you see them, well, then I'm good, but I get in, you don't, you get shoved in a queue.
Visiting, so you don't actually have to be on the same, or you don't have to start necessarily in the same server. There are some caveats to it, but let's talk a little bit more about that. How does visiting a friend on another server work?
Well, the first and most important step is to get a friend. This is often achieved by going to a cafe or a movie theater and just striking up a conversation with a random stranger. Then once you have a friend and they are also into Dune Awakening, which is also a big moment. Oh, my mic. Sorry. I have tech support here because my mic sucks. Was I talking too loudly?
And also, it'd be good to have the visiting friends. We actually have a little video or an asset that shows that too, how you can actually visit a friend.
We're talking about how to make friends first.
Sorry, well, we can talk about make friends. How do you make friends?
He's enabled sexy mode now. So now first of all, how I make friends is I talk to them in voice like this.
Now we have it there.
Okay, so once you've made friends, and you can see friends automatically because they're added from your Steam list as well. So if you have them as a friend on Steam, they will show up in your friends list in the game automatically. Then you go to the friends page.
Not surprised. I know a lot of games do that.
You simply click them and say, I want to visit this friend. It will teleport you to the nearest trade post to that friend, because obviously teleporting directly to them would be exploitable in infinite amounts of ways. Once you're there, you can join up with your friend, do everything on that siege with them, except for one specific thing, and that is build. You can't claim land. You can build on their base. You can be given ownership of their base and be able to build all the parts of their base, but you don't own the specific land claim. And that's just for database reasons. We need to make sure that we control how many people build in different locations.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when you want to go home, you just push escape and choose return to home dimension. And it will take you back.
Bases and
and you can
out
also
a bit.
do contracts and journey steps, like with your friends that way as well. That will kind of carry over when you go back to your home world.
Yeah, all of the content in the game is accessible with this visiting feature, so you can basically do everything. Everything that you could do in a group, you can do on someone else's world. You can do it in your own world. So there is this cross-play feature for everyone. You'll be able to, work together. So I think people are concerned about like, oh, I won't be able to meet my friends who started, but this shouldn't be a problem. You should be able to play with people, even if you're not in the same exact siege when you start playing.
Right. So
how many of you guys are going to do all the
outside chat? Playing with your friends. Obviously, you can play solo, but then there's the usual things that you have in games, groups, guilds. Maybe Leo can talk a little bit about what kind of options are there to play with your friends besides visiting like their server.
Yeah, so let's start with groups. So we saw that a bit earlier in the previous segments, right, with group combat. So groups are temporary social structures of up to 4 people. And they come with some benefits like seeing your group member status on the HUD. You see them as markers on the map.
Groups with benefits, huh?
Yeah.
Groups with benefits.
Exactly.
Love those. Love those.
The best
Convenient, right? So and then you have
I saw Wink chat.
Standard features like chat.
Hang on, chat. We're going back for a second.
And
Okay, I'm not going back. I'm not in the video. God damn it. Hang on. I want to see that menu real quick. What was it? Oh, it was. Yeah, Wank, Little, Mimble. Oh, they in the guild tab. My bad.
That's the best.
We're doing guild tab. 32 Mimbles in a guild, though.
Standard features like chat connected to that.
I think we knew about that. Why is 32?
Makes it more convenient to.
God, I wish we were bigger. I get the whole thing of
Leo, could you go
only want to fill up
chat?
one server, but
Deeper into chat, yes. So this is a groundbreaking feature that we've developed, right? Never seen before in online games.
I think more importantly, a more important question, but thank you, Joel.
Sorry.
Like, how many people can be in a group?
Oh, 4.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. So the party leader plus
leader.
3 additional ones, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a feeling we're going to be
guilds.
forced and that was what's
So
in
guilds
that
are
last
more of
dungeon.
long-term social structures, right? So you can be up to 32 players in a guild, and they're structured with
start with some,
hierarchies where you have
bigger groups
one
of
leader,
people.
any number of officers to help manage the guild, and then a roster of members as well.
Okay.
And guilds, they of course also have this groundbreaking chat feature like that we have.
What?
Yeah.
What?
And and both parties or groups and the guilds, they are across the world, right? So if you meet some people,
Menu seem pretty
deep
simple and
desert,
straightforward. Like good.
Game together, you can do that. It doesn't matter if you're on different servers, still works fine. And something else you can also do with the guilds is that once you progress through individual faction alignment far enough, you can actually align your character to a specific faction, and as a continuation of that, you can pledge the allegiance of your guild to one of the major houses. So either
now, Leo, you like to be in
do we get bonus for that?
And
if we do it solo and guild
together, and you pledge allegiance to the Atreides Lord, what's going to happen to me?
You're going to get booted right out of it.
You can make a guild with me. I'm hardcore too, so it's fine.
Nice,
yeah.
hardcore hardcore. We have to shave our heads, but we're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah.
Totally
Don't
fine.
allow mixed guilds.
Totally okay. No mixed guilds.
No house mixing in this game.
Yeah.
We talked about chat. When you talk about chat, you mean actually text chat. However, we do actually have proximity chat as well.
We do have proximity voice chat.
Yes,
common feature of survival games.
Off by default, so that you don't have to be annoyed by that person running past swearing.
But what is it? Anyway, I think it's fun. I think.
I don't get on. Voice chat like that is really cool and really good.
We got to protect the people's ears.
I know. No, I mean it's good that you can choose. Some people don't like it. Some people enjoy it. So you can choose. But what we also see there is edit permission. So when we talk about guilds, we do actually have a whole permission system in the game for a whole lot of things, right? Like, tell us a little bit more about that, Leo.
Yeah, so survival games commonly have this type of bases, right, that you can build in the world, and we have that as well. And we have a longer term persistence than most survival games. So we needed some robust way of sharing access to certain type of assets in the game, right? Like bases, but also vehicles. So here we also have this hierarchical type of system similar to what we have in guilds.
Elite for 5 minutes.
Here you can see on screen now for vehicles, for example.
Oh, Paul can take damage.
Add your friends to
they had like this in AP balls.
Some type of access depending on what you want to promote them to. So they can be associates or they can be co-owners. It's the same system for bases and vehicles. And the way each rank works is that it comes with a certain specific rights. So, for example, for removing the subfief console here that you see, you require owner level permission. So only the owner of the subfief can do that.
I do will like chat.
So
You're
make
going to
sure
vandalize my base again.
No, you make sure you give the right permissions to, again, the friends that you can actually trust.
Be careful. And then we also have this additional level.
They're going to give you all like
control the
got full permission
required for each object in your base. So
you in a dream, you get full permission.
If you want to set that to only be accessible,
that might be a bad idea now I'm thinking about it.
You can do that. If you want to set it to be accessible by co-owners or associates, you can do that. But then we also have 2 additional levels. So you can set a door or machine or anything like that to be accessible by any guild member or also by the public. If you want to be nice to the travelers or that are coming by, give them some shelter.
We actually have seen that in the beta. We have like several beta players who just build bases and then open it up to everyone, especially like at the beginning to new players. So they can come in, they can get some water, they can get some basic resources and just you can do that. You can be a nice
so if your house technically become one of them like street corner library type thing.
Depending on.
Could you walk us through how the permission system works for the erotic role-playing crowd?
What?
Okay,
yeah, that's
go
on. Stream, I think.
Okay, let's get into like, so when we go into all these level of control that you have over permissions, and it can be a little bit like intimidating almost if you go intimidating. You know what is it now?
Yeah.
Anyway,
you're intimidating. I get it. You scare me.
I'm intimidated.
Shoulders down.
So it can be a little bit intimidating because it feels like a lot of work, but there's actually a more streamlined option that you can do as well, and it makes it a bit more easier to set all these permissions.
Yeah, so we have a lot of assets tied to Joel's scenario here that he painted, and you want to give yeah, exactly. So if you want to give access to a lot of bases and vehicles used for his scenario, then you can open the profile for a friend, for example, that you want to give access to a lot of assets. And it's a simple list where you can click, okay, I want to give this person access to that base, that base, that base, and these 3 vehicles, and it's done from a distance. So it's very convenient to set up.
Absolutely.
I think this is actually. Oh no, we have actually one last thing. We have a little overview visual that shows where in the world we have our
our
worlds.
server farms.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
There we go.
So, I mean, this is where we're going to have servers at launch across the world. So people can see. I mean, the one in Australia, it's actually kind of on the East Coast because it's closer to Sydney. And I see that the Australian name is in the wrong place, but that's okay.
It's fine. We only talking top level.
Gives a shit about country.
We're not talking about the actual locations right now.
We will have servers in all of these countries and locations, so people will have the best possible ping. I think the most screwed people are in South Africa, but we also believe that because they don't know where they parked their car because they're South African and they speak Afrikaans, they can connect quickly to South America. It's fine. It's fine. That's usually the best ping for them.
Perfect. Okay, but you'll see. We'll have tons of options for you to choose from.
I want level Joe at taking chat.
Joe
is 3 feet to the wind right now. What the hell?
Especially also for PvP, of course, very important since we have
that Coke is doing one chat.
Interested in PvP as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think that's it for the actual segments. Joel, thank you so much for your contribution to this stream. We always appreciate it.
It was a pleasure to be here.
I'll be talking to HR tomorrow, but no, it's okay. It's all fine. Again, it's like my 10th complaint. No, also Leo, thank you so much for your time as well. Actually, we will see you again shortly, because after a quick break, we actually go into our Q&A. Leo will be back. Joel will unfortunately not be here for the Q&A. We will have on the stream again. Don't worry about it. Once he calmed a little bit down from his caffeine overdose.
To the audience, I hope you enjoyed the dry humor. That's how we roll on Arrakis. You know?
The vibing, the dry humor on Arrakis.
I was just super Arakeen to do this live stream today.
Oh dear God. Okay, yeah, let's just go with the video. Beautiful Arrakis.
I love your highliner, by the way.
God, always something when Joe around, isn't it? Oh. Always something. Okay, yeah. We still doing like a lot of the old trailers that we saw the last couple times. But yeah, like, you know, I know he would just, you know, being over the top about the whole like sexual role players. But he's still not that far off base. So like, you know, if you can start finding some bop or cattle around in any MMO, that MMO gonna be just fine. Just fine, chat. Like, who knows? Maybe the reason why EverQuest and Final Fantasy 11 still exists is because of them. Only a little bit reason. But yeah, I wonder though, like all things considered, with like the permissions and stuff, and the whole like public stuff, I'm kind of honestly interested in like how much like role-playing possibility are we gonna truly have in this? Because it seems like it's gonna be a decent amount, you know, especially like I was saying earlier with the PvP stuff, of like having the PvP always be like a thing that's lingering. And then like leaving it up to the player to decide to engage or not engage. You know, instead of just being like, oh, I'm gonna motor by a sea, you know, just because. But like having the stuff like the dungeons. Like that type of stuff of being like, you know, motivation now. And then also I wish they kind of showed it sent. You know, when you were killing enemies or the boxes, you know, you could loot. But I wonder if you actually kill your teammate, can you loot all the loot they got off of that dungeon? Could that be interesting if it like if they come in with like a weapon or almost set whatever, like fine, they get to keep it. But like every single item in the dungeon that it picked up, it fell game. I could get kind of interesting. And I wonder at that point, how long is it going to be before we like? I get honestly, maybe it would depend on the server size, since each of the rooms are 40. And I get depending on how many like quote unquote rooms they have. For all we know, the wounds might be just, constantly being created. Or eventually they might, shrink it back down.
Welcome back, everyone.
If you play PSO, you know what I'm talking about, like wound size.
We are still preparing a few things behind the scenes
So
for our
I'm kind of
Q&A,
curious, like, can you get
but
reputation?
I have now
Or the
Viljar
server
and
like
Leo
super
back,
big and
for
you would
answering
never see the same
questions.
person twice. Well,
Before we do
fully
that,
engaging
again, for those
on like
of
a
you who
friend
have
level.
joined us a bit later, you might have heard about the fact that we have been moving the release date of Dune Awakening 3 weeks back to the 10th of June with a head start starting on the 5th of June, which is not cause for any concern. It's really just because we want to add some more polish to some of the things in the game, and it gives that opportunity. Additionally, we also will have the opportunity to do a large-scale beta. So many of you will have the chance to actually try out the game for themselves.
I wish it were public.
That won't be under an
wish it
NDA, so
public.
we'll be able to show, you'll be able to stream, you'll be able to do videos and all that good stuff. But
I want
actually,
it public, and I want to know how old the beta
what
will
is
be.
your favorite thing in the game to
like
do
what
when you actually
version of
play?
the
When you
game
look
they're
at
going to be?
it as a player, like turn off your developer brain. Is that working? Does that actually work? Can you do that and play the game? And if you do that, what is your favorite thing to do?
So for me, I love the fact that the game is so much more than one thing. It's not just a game about combat. It's like we have all these different elements. You have the way that we harvest both just water and resources, things like that. Then you can mix it up and go do an ecolab like we just saw. And then I really like how things come together. You might be driving away from a sandworm, and then suddenly there's a sandstorm on the way. You drive past an enemy camp and they start shooting at you. Suddenly you run out and you try to take care of them. You get hit by
Or they destroy your vehicles, and we know part of the vehicle can be destroyed.
I have to
or
find
look
shelter,
like it
but I also
can
have to
anyway.
take out these enemies. Like, I like fast games where you have a lot of second-to-second decisions to make, and I think that our game beautifully supports that.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Leo?
Yeah, so I actually started a new playthrough last week, playing quite a bit, and what I'm really enjoying now is setting up my base production facilities and the related mining activities that come from that. So, especially the vehicle mining, I'm having a good time with that. Going around in my buggy, going up in the turret, finding mining nodes to get my resources from. And
it can be very relaxing too. Like that's one of the things that you mentioned that to me earlier, actually, when we talked a little bit as well, and I totally agree with that. That we have both the combat aspect that is very nerve wracking, can be like get your pulse up, and then we have the mining who can be actually very zen with like following those lines and things. And I really like that kind of juxtaposition of things as well.
Yeah, we actually spent a lot of time and effort trying to make the harvesting, the cutter rate, to make it work and be, like you said, like sand-like and everything like that. And although there is some progression on the patterns that you harvest from, but it still needs to be sand-like, because the thing is,
are we doing the battle tool stuff?
Hopefully you'll be playing this game for thousands of hours, and having something that is that intense all the time, I just didn't think that would be right for the game.
No, it's exhausting,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So you have combat if you want that experience, but then if you want to relax a little bit and just chill, you can, as you say, go with your buggy and harvest.
Yeah, so what's going on right now is that I'm looking, okay, what's the next tech that I want to get to, right? Okay, what do I need for that? I need this thing, this thing,
you need
this
that
thing.
carrot on the stick
I
that
have
not
these already,
exclusively
right? I went
just
out to
PvP.
some, expeditions earlier. But these two things are new. I wonder where I'm going to get those. Okay, so I hop in my buggy and I drive out and I hunt for resources.
Yeah.
And it turns into an adventure.
Yeah.
Sometimes a bit too adventurous. I lost my bike yesterday, but
oh yeah, I know that
it.
feeling. I think everyone goes through that at least once. So like it's just kind of part of the experience, the Dune Awakening experience.
I got my lesson.
But I think we're actually ready for the questions. Another thing I just wanted to mention before we go into questions is like what I really love is the weird things that can happen. Like we saw that, like actually you posted that, I think, where you were driving through the desert. You were looking for the worm, and there was like a crash, like one of the dynamic ships that can crash and like crash down onto the surface, crashed like literally like 2 meters next to you, and you had no idea that was coming down. That was just like it's moments like this that I find incredibly engaging and fun. Like these type of things that can happen.
Yeah, like having like
anyway,
actual
so we are
events
ready
that just happen.
for some questions.
like really good to have, especially I don't get
Shire.
too repetitive
Can the
anyway.
player select which siege they got to connect to as their home dimension, or it's randomly assigned?
Yeah, so you get to choose your worlds, and in that world there are many servers which are the sieges, and you can pick the siege that you actually want to connect to. So you don't have to do it in any order, and you don't, and it's not randomly assigned.
Right, and you can talk to your friends again, like to make sure they're on the same siege.
So I can literally put a sword
in, at least in the same world as well, because then you can still visit and all that.
Yeah, you want to align on that before you start, so you pick the right one.
Yes, for sure, absolutely. I'm gonna butcher these usernames again. I apologize beforehand if I do. CF Olsen, CF Olsen.
Lady, could be like me, to pick out one word in a name.
House, can you later change it to align with the same house as the guild is? So basically, if you can change, right? If your guild is another alignment.
Yeah, you can. You can betray your house.
But only once.
Once. They won't take that lightly, so you better think about this really carefully.
What are they going to send, like mercenaries or anything after you? Or just attack you on side or something like that?
They don't like that very much.
So is it going to be like, you know, no pun intended, Oblivion with the assassins?
Can you progress far without PvP, or is this game mainly going to be around PvP?
So you can play in the survival area, the survival game map that we have, which is 8 by 8 kilometers, and you don't have to PvP at all in that. Now going to the deep desert, you don't have to PvP. It's just that you run the risk of PvP. And as what I talked about earlier is that we have all these tools where you can quickly get away. So the goal was that people who don't want to PvP may still go there for the loot, but be on the lookout for enemies coming, and then just, you know, drive away really fast, or you using your ornithopter as
would you be like mine? A bit more like treating it more like an attraction shooter,
use your abilities to get away.
More than anything.
We didn't want to have people be ganked very early on, and we thought that, well, at this point you played the game for 100 hours, so you probably know your way around the disruptor, right? So when you get there, people who will PvP you, but they will actually meet people who know how to play the game. So that was the goal. Now, not everyone is going to love that, but like PvP, but you can then run away.
And they always say, like, you have a way to get the stuff outside of PvP as well.
You decide to opt into
in
PvP, you actually put yourself under higher risk than someone that says,
would you
I'm
probably play or
play
market
PvE
that probably
in the game. And also, we haven't actually talked about the end game and the launch rod system, which does have PvP, but you can actually also influence that with PvE as well. So it's not all PvP at all. So there's a lot of options for PvE players as well.
Yeah, definitely. You can play the game for hundreds, thousands of hours without engaging in PvP easily.
Oh my God! Now I'm outing myself as an old woman. Unpaid taxi, is that the name? That is the name. That's fantastic. Love it. Unpaid taxi asked, is the slow blade automatic?
So we have two main attacks for the blade, like the basic ones, if you don't have any skills or abilities associated with it. So we have the quick attack, and then we call it the stab, even though it's, you know, with swords and everything you can do the slow blade there. So you can do the quick attack, which is effective to stagger enemies, so you get time to actually deliver the slow blade. Now, if you use the slow blade on an unshielded enemy, you will have a quick in, and then I'm going to lose the
you got it
here.
You got it, buddy.
It works differently. So basically, the slow blade is automatic in the sense that it will trigger if you do a stab, so to speak. I guess
basically, it's a special. You do it as a special attack, so it's a special. Like you hold your mouse button basically longer. You just click it, so it is a special trigger, and then the animation will play itself out. But it doesn't automatically happen. You have to trigger it actively.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you look for opportunity, right? And there, I can get the timing in right. Okay, now I hold, and now I get the slow blade.
Yeah, and also it takes quite a long time to actually execute a slow blade, because it's called slow blade. So you have to make sure your enemy is either staggered or they do something that they don't
immediately can retaliate, right? So I think that's also.
I think I can explain what I tried to say earlier.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you go against an unshielded enemy, you will hold for a bit, so it will be akin to a heavy attack, and then you'll do it fast. Whereas with the slow blade, you go fast in, and then the slow is on the when you actually connect through the shield. So that's
yes, actually that's correct, because you have the heavy attack plus the slow blade, and those happen differently, like if you're up against a shielded enemy or not a shielded enemy. That's kind of what you meant.
The procedure to trigger it is the same. It's just that it's contextual whether someone has a shield or not.
Yeah. I really need glasses, I think, or better, Sorvina Savage, I think?
Yeah, that's right.
Sorvina Savage. I also, to my defense, I'm actually also sitting further away than Leo, for example. Has like a really nice angle to the questions, but
I'm cheating a bit over here.
Do you lose durability on melee weapons? Do you lose more durability on melee weapons than range to offset ammunition use of ranged weapons? That's a good question.
That's extremely detailed. I don't have the answer for that. And as we balance things, that might go up and down. I don't have the exact numbers.
The numbers.
I'm question how easy it is to fix your stuff in general.
Right? No, I'm always fairly cheap, so you will loot some of it, and the rest you will just pull out your cut array, harvest a couple of scrap metal piles, and then you have plenty so that you can quickly craft them on your person. So it's pretty
good. So like a
it's
base
not actually a resource
crafting.
that's very important compared to
So
like
not
stamina,
like made in a factory or
ability
anything.
cooldowns,
Good.
and other things, right?
Yeah.
In the context of things. Black Lion Apps is asking, can I swap active skills during combat?
So you can swap your skills. However, if they're on a cooldown, you'll not be allowed to swap them.
Okay.
I'm very specific.
Tyler,
but
that's easy for once. Tyler's asking, can you learn all skills available in the game? So Master Trooper, so on.
You cannot actually. You can go pretty far down in several of them, or you can go to the
we gotta
end
make
of
more
a few of them,
characters.
but you won't be able to get all the skills from all the trees.
Yeah, we actually had that at one point that we were able to get everything, but then we made it much more interesting also with the I call them cornerstones, but the capstones, capstone skills. Yeah, so you actually will have to make decisions in terms of where do you spend your points.
and
I
also
personally really like
another
that. I
reason
think it's
to
more,
make other characters
more interesting as
that
well.
have like certain play styles.
That's
Which
Serena
might be a
Savage
good
again.
thing for
Will
having like one for
NPCs
PvP,
pick
one for
targets
not.
based on
And
threats,
to trade among
closest player,
yourself
or use
if you can
tactics?
trade, that is.
Again, that's also quite specific. I wish Alex was here. So they're like with these things, there's always a combination, and you weight things. So it's like, well, someone might have a higher threat at a longer distance. Who do you deal with? So we have weighted this, so it's like it should feel natural, the way that it works. But again, I don't have the exact numbers for how that's balanced.
The thing is, I actually asked Alex that question, I think, yesterday during one of our chats as well. And he said what you just said too, though. Like, the NPCs are actually taking several aspects into consideration. How far is that player away? How much damage? How big of a threat is that character? Like, what kind of abilities did they use previously and all that? So there's quite of a complex mechanic behind how NPCs will react to you.
They
and
do
how
have
they
tactics, so they change how they play depending on if there's one of them, obviously, and if there's more of them, and depending on difficulty, we'll scale it so that the second NPC might not be as aggressive in the early game as they would be in the later game, for instance.
Armored Scooter. Armored Scooter is asking, will soda cars be killable, or are they meant to be the ultimate enemy?
So we have the
NPC
soda
killing
drop
time.
ships, but Cho mercenaries drop from them. So you will kill them, but they are not proper Sardaukar.
You're just not important
very
enough
NPC.
early on specifically
exactly.
that they would
Can't
deal
leave.
with you.
Yeah.
They're just sent there.
If you kill Sardaukar, that would be part of. It's not the normal approach.
Don't spoil
Yeah,
anything.
exactly. You won't.
Maybe you'll have to find out.
They're
Story
not part of the
time.
normal NPC roster, so to speak.
Mac Wolverson asks, are there any hunter seekers in the game to use?
Indeed, they are the last ability in one of the trees.
Yes, we actually.
Oh wow, you just call like in-game ability.
No,
Nice.
we don't do that. But we've actually shown the hunter seeker in a few gameplay or in like early videos.
Yeah.
We haven't shown the hunter seeker today in the combat sections. Actually, we used other abilities, but
Yeah.
it's absolutely.
We used its sibling, the assault seeker.
Yes, exactly. The one you saw, the ability that Alex.
Yeah,
in
just not the
solo
one you
gameplay
can
was, like,
control.
showing.
Because I think that was in the very first trailer. They showed the one that you could control.
Wonder Drakias is asking, can you extract blood from enemies like they do in the movies?
Yes, you can indeed. It's you will be doing that a lot as you build your base, and you refine blood to actually use as water for things that you craft and also for hydration.
You kind of start with a rusty needle and the bag at the beginning, and then you kind of
all the way.
As you learn more secrets to the desert, you might also learn a few more.
Yeah, you can even
improved.
drink blood.
Yes.
It will hydrate you, but there are some side effects.
Yeah, it's not super advised, but you can go. You can also.
We can be a vampire. Time for a vampire one.
Use mud
you know,
and drink a little bit.
This is true. You can harvest the mood dips as well.
Not okay. Not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. Just putting it out there right now.
Poor little bunny.
Slucker, can you attack players of your same faction?
Oh, the PvP question.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So what I think I mentioned earlier is
penalty
that
for it?
in a group you won't do damage much to your friends in your group, but the people in your guild who may be attached to a faction, you can damage them when you're in the PvP area.
No penalty at all for it, though?
All right. That was it for today.
I think it would be like a penalty.
Millie or Leo, again, thank you so much for your time and for sitting down with us to chat about Dune Awakening. Super exciting. Thanks for answering questions. Thanks for talking about your segments as well. And thank you, everyone, for watching.
I don't know, maybe like the faction had like a web or something.
We'll improve
like the more
over
you
time.
you slowly take away at it or something of being penalized in it.
Also, of course, more opportunities for you to ask questions.
Yeah, something to balance, like Private one on killing everybody.
On Steam.
Whenever they can,
that
is.
On our social channels, Dune Awakening, for all of them. And as always, stay hydrated. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
I would honestly say, like, obviously the biggest thing I feel like out of this is, once again, finding out that, like, yes, you can indeed do like dark zone stuff in dungeon with players. How many people in a party? Obviously the guilt up. I would say the guilt up right now is like nothing insane as far as being like, you know, being able to give people ability to use, you know, vehicles or equipment. I am still very curious to see, which from the way it's seeming, it might be not the case early on. We will see if it become a thing long term or not. But I am wondering if there is like some type of like through line for the guilds. You know, might it be like some type of reputation, maybe some type of bonuses for being certain ranks, or is it just going to be a very bare-bone, you know, guild group? I'm kind of curious about that. And also with Elite opening up bases and stuff, you know, how much freedom gonna be there, like in fall of like having like the roleplay community. I imagine something gotta be there, you know, with Joe, you know, talking about his brothels and everything. You would think there'll be something more there, but then again, we will see how the role-playing stuff ends up going for this. Hopefully this is very good and easy to role-play. That's my hope anyway, because, you know, role-playing, I feel like, you know, helps a lot in a lot of MMOs. Especially how semi-open ending that seemed to be. But yeah, my only real feedback at that point would be, really watching the combat is like, I with the Fulgent stuff had like a little more impact to it. And I kind of wish the enemy equipment, maybe it'd be too much, I don't know. But like, I kind of wish for any of you who play Outriders, how they handle it. Like, you know, you go into an area and once you like trigger like an enemy, you know, the people in the environment will become triggered as well. You might also, you know, you see this in normal like single player third person type games or just games in general. But I kind of wish it was something more like that and not just like, you know, you walk in a room and it'd be like, oh, a dude standing like wide apart from you, you killing his friend and he just still just daring. That we were seeing when they would like, you know, 1 and 2 before they got to the bot where they ended. I kind of wish it was like more engagement there from the NPCs. I thought like a team instead of very much feeling like the normal MMO thing where you have like clusters of where enemies are, and as long as you're not too close, they can just yell at you and, you know, any of you killing them friends. That would be my only two things that like, man, I wish that wasn't the case, or something like maybe the Warp Tours. But then again, that might be one of them cases of it just way easier to do that type of stuff, especially when you are making, you know, like an instant online multiplayer game like this, which is, you know, many reason why a lot of MMO back in the day, and even to this day, you know, you will still see this in something like WoW 14 as well, of just like cluster enemies, but any enemy outside of that cluster, and if they can see you, just don't care. But yeah, like I feel like that very much like the MMO-ness coming into play here. But yeah, and the combat is like, I kind of wish we had like a proper like lock on reticle, because obviously they were locking on at one point, and they would talk about the combat being like Souls. But yeah, it still looked kind of clunky on that end. I say gun combat looked fine though. Any of it looked like some of the enemies are going to be a little more like, you know, just bullet bungee. So yeah, we will see on that end. And then the only other thing would be is like, it would have been nice when you are with your team having some type of visual cue that not just like a thing above the compass. I don't know, maybe like a hue around the character so you could see who your teammate, because like that was some of that was a little confusing of figuring out like, okay, who the NPC and who had not. And even more so why I didn't catch on they were doing, you know, a PvP thing at the end because of that reason, you know. So having more like indicators on that be nice. And I get like also like be nice if you could see no HP, you know, like you would see in a normal MMO where you have like a party structure. But it seemed like they're not doing that because of the whole PvP thing. I kind of wish you could see it, and then the second like PvP breakout would disappear. That would probably be nice, you know. Same thing for like if they had like a huge over the character that, you know, your party member, or like if they break rank, you know, it just vanish, and then you become a enemy. But yeah, that pretty much from this overall, pretty much my like my only real like feedback on this. Maybe it's not a big deal from playing it. Once again, I haven't had a chance to play this. Sadly, I have not been invited to the NDA betas that have been happening for the last year or so. But hopefully we'll get into the new beta. Hopefully. Yeah, like I said, looking on the website, it doesn't look like any information as far of when that beta gonna begin. I'm just gonna double check on Twitter real fast before we end it part of the stream and just see if they have said anything beyond the actual release date. But yeah, otherwise now it doesn't look like they have. No, they have not said. But you can sign up for the beta on the official website. So still the same sign up that been there since the start. So we will see if you have signed up previously or you still in, or and also how many people are actually going to come into the public non-NDA beta. Because if we get into it, like, yeah, we will absolutely stream it since they said no NDA on it. So we can hope that will be the case here. But overall, that was it. That was probably, I imagine we'll probably have what, maybe one more of these before this all said and done. Before probably around the time of beta, I imagine. But either way, whenever they announce the Dev stream, I will be covering it right along with everything else Dune related. So don't forget, if you are watching over on YouTube after the fact, or maybe you're watching over there right now live, make sure to, of course, hit now.
Yeah, make sure you keep hitting that like button. Like,
do the like, do the subscribe, do the bell, do all that over there. If you're on Twitch, Be sure to follow. Be sure to subscribe. And yeah, that was the Dev Stream.